My friends, tonight I want to share with you the most profound secret that separates those who merely dream from those who truly create their reality. It's not what you think it is. It's not about wanting more intensely, or visualizing more clearly, or affirming with greater passion. No, my dear friends, the secret lies in something that seems paradoxical, something that challenges everything you've been taught about getting what you want. The secret is in letting go. You see, there's a divine paradox at the heart of all manifestation, and until you understand this paradox, you'll continue to chase your desires like a dog chasing its own tail, exhausting yourself in circles while your dreams remain perpetually out of reach. Tonight, I'm going to reveal to you what I call sacred detachment, the art of holding your desire so lightly that it has no choice but to materialize in your world. But first, let me ask you something that might disturb you. Are you suffocating your desires with your desperation? You know exactly what I mean, don't you? That tight grip in your chest when you think about what you want, that constant checking, that endless wondering when will it come, that feeling of panic when circumstances seem to contradict your desire. My friends, that very desperation is the wall standing between you and your fulfilled life. Here's what most people don't understand. The universe operates on a frequency of allowing, not forcing. When you're desperately attached to your desire, you're broadcasting a frequency of lack, of not having, of needing. But consciousness can only give you more of what you're being, not what you're wanting. Think about this carefully. Have you ever noticed that the things you care about least tend to manifest most easily? That job you applied for on a whim, that person who showed interest when you weren't looking for love, that money that came when you weren't desperately counting every penny. This isn't coincidence. This is the law in action. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The very act of desperately wanting something creates a vibration of separation from it. You're literally pushing away what you want most through the intensity of your wanting. The universe doesn't hear your words. It responds to your vibration. And the vibration of desperate wanting is identical to the vibration of not having. Let me explain this in terms that will revolutionize your understanding of manifestation. Everything in existence is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts, your emotions, your desires, all energy. The key to manifestation is not to vibrate at the frequency of wanting something, but to vibrate at the frequency of having it. When you're attached to an outcome, when you're desperately needing it to happen, you're vibrating at the frequency of lack. But when you're in sacred detachment, you're vibrating at the frequency of abundance, of knowing, of trust. This frequency is magnetic to your desires because it matches the frequency of already having them. Think of it this way. If you were already living your desired life, would you be desperately trying to manifest it? Of course not. You'd be peacefully enjoying it. That peaceful enjoyment, that state of having, that's the vibration that creates your reality. Not the desperate wanting, but the satisfied having. Now let me explain this in terms of vibration, because everything in this universe is vibration, including your desires and your resistance to them. When you're attached to an outcome, you're vibrating at the frequency of I don't have this and I need it. That vibration of need, of lack, of desperation, actually repels what you want. But when you're in sacred detachment, you're vibrating at the frequency of I know this is mine, and I trust the timing of its arrival. This is the vibration of allowing, of trust, of inner knowing. This frequency magnetizes your desires to you effortlessly. Imagine you're tuning a radio. When you're desperately attached, you're creating static. Your signal is unclear, full of interference. But when you detach, you find the clear frequency where your desire can transmit purely into your reality. The universe is like a giant mirror, reflecting back to you whatever frequency you're broadcasting. If you're broadcasting desperation, you get circumstances that make you feel more desperate. If you're broadcasting trust and knowing, you get circumstances that confirm your trust and knowing. Your emotions are your guidance system, telling you whether you're in alignment with your desires or pushing them away. When you think about your desire and feel anxiety, worry, or desperation, you're out of alignment. But when you think about your desire and feel peace, excitement, or gentle anticipation, you're in the receiving mode. This is crucial. You cannot receive what you want while you're in the vibration of not having it. It's vibrationally impossible. The universe must match your vibration, not your wishes. So your work is not to make things happen, but to align yourself with the vibration of having what you want. Most people get this backwards. They think they'll feel better when they get what they want. But the truth is, they must feel better first. Then they'll get what they want. The feeling comes first, then the manifestation. Always. Your emotions are constantly giving you feedback about your vibration. When you feel good, you're in alignment with your desires. When you feel bad, you're out of alignment. It's that simple. Your work is to find ways to feel good, regardless of current circumstances. Because feeling good is the vibration that magnetizes good things to you. Here's something profound. Every feeling state you can experience already exists within you. Joy, love, abundance, freedom, peace. These aren't things you need to get from the outside world. They're states of consciousness you can access right now through your imagination and assumption. When you imagine your desire fulfilled and really feel it as real, you're not pretending. You're accessing a dimension of consciousness where it's already true. That feeling state is the seed of your manifestation. The stronger and more consistent that feeling, the faster it manifests in your physical world. But here's the key. You must be able to access that feeling state without needing the physical manifestation to justify it. If you can only feel abundant when you see money in your bank account, you'll never manifest abundance. You must feel abundant first, then the money comes. This is why detachment is so crucial. When you're attached to the physical manifestation, you can't access the pure feeling state of having it. But when you detach from the need to see it physically, you can live in the feeling of it completely. Sacred detachment is really the art of allowing. It's about getting out of your own way and letting the universe deliver your desires through the path of least resistance. But how do you allow? How do you stop interfering with your own good? First, you must understand that your only job is to be a vibrational match to what you want. You don't need to figure out how it will happen, when it will happen, or who will be involved. Your job is simply to embody the feeling of having it now, then step back and allow the universe to orchestrate the details. Think of yourself as placing an order with the universe. Once you've placed your order clearly and with feeling, do you stand in the kitchen of the restaurant, anxiously watching the cook, constantly asking when your meal will be ready? Of course not. You sit down, relax, and trust that your order is being prepared. You might even forget about it completely until it arrives at your table. This is exactly how manifestation works. Place your order through your imagination and feeling, then go about your life in joy and trust, knowing your order is being filled. Allowing means trusting that the universe knows how to deliver your desires better than you do. It means releasing control over the details and surrendering to the wisdom of consciousness. This isn't passive. It's the most active thing you can do, because you're actively aligning with the creative force of the universe. Trust is perhaps the highest vibration you can maintain while waiting for your desires to manifest. Trust says, I know the universe has my back. I know that what I want wants me too. I know that everything is working out for my highest good. But trust is not just blind faith. It's based on understanding the laws of consciousness. When you truly understand that consciousness is the only reality, that your imagination creates your world, that what you assume to be true becomes true in your experience, then trust becomes natural. You don't have to trust that the law will work. You know it works because you've seen it work countless times in your life. Every circumstance in your current reality was first imagined by you. You are always manifesting, always creating through your assumptions and beliefs. The question is not whether the law works, but whether you're using it consciously or unconsciously. Trust also means trusting yourself, trusting your ability to imagine, to feel, to assume, trusting that you are worthy of your desires, trusting that you have the power to create the life you want. This self-trust is magnetic to manifestation because it eliminates doubt and resistance. One of the greatest obstacles to detachment is our obsession with timing. We want what we want, and we want it now. But time, as we experience it, is an illusion of the physical senses. In consciousness, in the realm where creation actually takes place, everything exists simultaneously. Your desire is not in your future. It exists now in consciousness. Your job is not to bring it from the future into the present, but to step into the dimension of consciousness where it already exists and live from that state. This shift in perception changes everything. Instead of waiting for your good to come to you, you realize you can step into your good right now through your imagination and assumption. The physical manifestation is simply the shadow cast by your inner state. Time is also flexible in consciousness. What seems like it should take years can happen in moments when you're in the right state. What seems impossible can become inevitable when you shift your assumption. Don't let linear time limit your faith in what's possible. Here's a profound truth. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This means you can assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled right now, regardless of current circumstances. And that assumption will eventually externalize as your reality. But here's where detachment becomes crucial. You must assume your desire fulfilled, and then release your grip on making it happen in the physical world. Hold the assumption lightly, but persistently. Live in the feeling of it being true without desperately needing to see immediate evidence. Most people assume their desire fulfilled for a few minutes during visualization, then spend the rest of their day assuming their current circumstances are the final reality. This creates a tug-of-war in consciousness that prevents manifestation. Instead, carry the assumption of your fulfilled desire lightly throughout your day. When contrary evidence appears, don't fight it. Simply remember your assumption and return to the feeling of having what you want. This is sacred detachment in action. Your assumptions are constantly creating your reality. Every assumption you make about yourself, about others, about life, becomes true in your experience. When you realize this power, you become very careful about what you assume. You choose assumptions that serve you rather than limit you. There's a particular state of consciousness I call the receiving mode. This is when you're completely open to your good, without resistance, without trying to control how it comes, without timeline demands. In this state, you're like a flower that has opened to receive the morning sun, receptive, allowing, trusting. How do you get into this receiving mode? Through appreciation, through joy, through focusing on what's already wonderful in your life. When you're appreciating what you have, you're not in the vibration of lack. When you're enjoying your current moment, you're not desperately grasping for a different moment. This doesn't mean you become complacent or stop having desires. It means you learn to enjoy the journey while you're traveling to your destination. You learn to be happy now, which is the fastest way to manifest more happiness. The receiving mode is characterized by a sense of ease, of flow, of natural expectation. You expect good things to come to you because you know you're worthy of them. You expect opportunities to appear because you trust in the abundance of the universe. You expect miracles because you understand that miracles are natural when you're aligned with the creative force of life. When you're truly detached, there's a deep peace that settles over you. This peace is magnetic. It draws your desires to you without effort. Peace says, I am complete as I am, and anything that comes to me is a bonus. This energy is irresistible to the universe. Contrast this with the energy of desperation, which says, I am incomplete without this thing, and I'll do anything to get it. This energy actually pushes things away because it's based on the vibration of lack. The most powerful manifestors I've known have been those who desired deeply but held lightly. They cared about their dreams, but didn't depend on them for their happiness. They were excited about their future, but content with their present. Inner peace is not the absence of desire, it's the presence of trust. It's knowing that everything you need will come to you in perfect timing. It's resting in the certainty that you are supported by the universe in ways you can't even imagine. Sacred detachment is not about killing your desires or pretending you don't want what you want. Your desires are sacred. They're the universe calling you toward expansion and growth. But once you've launched a desire, once you've asked for what you want through your imagination, your job is to get into alignment with receiving it. Think of it as a cosmic dance. First, you desire, this is the asking. Then you imagine it fulfilled. This is the ordering. Then you live in the feeling of having it while detaching from the how and when. This is the allowing. Finally, you receive. This is the manifestation. Most people get stuck between the ordering and allowing phases. They place their order, but then micromanage the universe, constantly checking on the progress, worrying about the delivery time, trying to control every detail of how it should come. This is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing. The constant interference prevents the natural process from unfolding. Trust the seed, trust the soil, trust the sun, trust the rain. Your job is to plant and then allow. Resistance is the only thing that slows down manifestation. When you resist what is, when you fight against current circumstances, when you push against unwanted situations, you create more of what you don't want. Non-resistance doesn't mean passive acceptance of everything. It means not spending your energy fighting what is, but instead focusing on what you want to create. It means saying, this is where I am now, but this is not where I'm going. When you stop resisting what is, you free up tremendous energy that can be redirected toward creating what you want. Resistance is exhausting. Non-resistance is energizing. When you're not fighting the current moment, you have all your power available for creating the next moment. Here's a practical tool for maintaining detachment. Learn to selectively attend to only what supports your desire. This doesn't mean denying reality or living in delusion. It means choosing what you give your attention to. Your attention is your creative power. Whatever you consistently attend to becomes your reality. If you constantly focus on the absence of your desire, you create more absence. If you consistently focus on the having of your desire, you create more having. This requires discipline at first, but it becomes natural with practice. When you notice your mind dwelling on lack, gently redirect it to abundance. When you catch yourself worrying about timing, redirect to trust. When you find yourself controlling, redirect to allowing. Selective attention is not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about not giving your creative power to things you don't want to expand in your life. It's about being deliberate with your focus, because you understand that focus creates reality. One of the most powerful states you can maintain is what I call grateful expectation. This is being thankful for your desire before it manifests physically, combined with joyful expectation of its arrival. This state combines the best of both worlds, the high vibration of gratitude with the magnetic power of expectation. You're not desperately waiting, you're joyfully expecting. You're not impatiently demanding, you're gratefully anticipating. Practice saying, thank you for my desire that is now manifesting in perfect timing. Feel the truth of this statement. Your desire is always manifesting, if not physically, then at least in consciousness. And consciousness is the only reality. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can maintain. When you're grateful, you're acknowledging the good that's already in your life, which magnetizes more good to you. Expectation is also a high vibration. It's faith in motion, confidence in the unseen, trust in the process. When you truly master detachment, your manifestations begin to appear effortlessly. Opportunities seem to find you. People offer you exactly what you need. Doors open without you having to knock them down. This is not luck. This is the law in perfect operation. Effortless manifestation happens when there's no resistance in you, no contradiction between what you want and what you believe you can have. When your desire and your belief are in perfect harmony, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. But effort and struggle indicate misalignment. They signal that you're trying to force something to happen rather than allowing it to unfold. The moment you find yourself struggling to make something happen, stop and realign yourself with the feeling of already having it. Effortless doesn't mean actionless. You may still take action, but it will be inspired action, not desperate action. Inspired action feels light, natural, exciting. Desperate action feels heavy, forced, exhausting. Learn to distinguish between the two. Everything has its season, its perfect timing. A seed planted in winter won't grow until spring, no matter how much you water it or how desperately you want flowers. Similarly, your desires have their perfect timing for manifestation. This doesn't mean you're powerless over timing. Your state of consciousness absolutely affects how quickly things manifest. The more aligned you are, the faster things come. But sometimes, what appears to be delay is actually the universe orchestrating the perfect circumstances for your desire to manifest in an even better way than you imagined. Trust the timing. Trust that if your desire hasn't manifested yet, it's because something even better is being prepared, or because you're being prepared to receive something even better. Divine timing is not about the universe withholding your good from you. It's about everything coming together in the most perfect way for your highest good. Sometimes things need to align in ways you can't see or understand before your desire can manifest fully. When you truly understand that you are complete and whole right now, that your worth and happiness don't depend on getting any particular thing, you experience the most profound liberation. From this place of freedom, you can desire without desperation, want without need, prefer without attachment. This doesn't make you indifferent, quite the opposite. It makes you powerfully creative, because you're no longer creating from lack, but from wholeness. You're not trying to fill a void, but expressing your natural abundance. Non-attachment liberates you from the tyranny of outcomes. You're no longer a victim of circumstances, because your peace doesn't depend on things being a certain way. You become unshakable, because your security comes from within, not from external conditions. When you embody sacred detachment, it affects every area of your life. Relationships become easier, because you're not desperately needing anything from others. Money flows more freely, because you're not gripping it with fear. Opportunities multiply, because you're open to receiving from unexpected sources. Detachment makes you magnetic to all good things, because you're no longer pushing them away with your desperation. You become a person that life wants to support, that the universe wants to shower with blessings. People can feel your energy of detachment, and it's attractive. It says, I'm complete as I am, but I'm open to sharing and receiving. This energy draws people to you because it's not needy or demanding. It's confident and secure. The ultimate realization is this. You already are everything you want to be. You already have everything you could ever need. Your desires are not about getting something you lack. They're about expressing more of what you already are. When you realize that you are consciousness itself, that you are the creative power of the universe individualized, that you are one with the source of all good, then detachment becomes not just possible, but inevitable. How can you be desperate for something when you realize you are everything? This is not spiritual bypassing, or pretending you don't have human desires. It's recognizing the deeper truth behind all desires. They're all expressions of your infinite nature, seeking to experience itself more fully. True mastery comes when you can choose your emotional state, regardless of circumstances. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending to feel something you don't. It means understanding that you have the power to shift your state through conscious choice. When you notice yourself in a state of attachment or desperation, you can consciously shift to a state of detachment and trust. This is not about forcing yourself to feel different, but about gently guiding your attention to thoughts that feel better. Emotional mastery is like physical fitness. It requires practice and consistency. The more you practice choosing states that serve you, the easier it becomes. Eventually, detachment becomes your natural state, not something you have to work at. Now let me explain the role of faith in detachment. Faith is not belief in something you can't see. It's knowing something is true, regardless of evidence. When you have faith in your desires, you don't need to see them to know they're real. You don't need proof, because you have inner knowing. This kind of faith makes detachment natural. When you know something is already done in consciousness, you don't desperately need to see it in the physical world. You can rest in the certainty of your inner knowing. Faith and detachment support each other. The more faith you have, the easier it is to detach. The more you detach, the stronger your faith becomes. They create a positive cycle that accelerates manifestation. Now, how do you live this teaching in your daily life? Start each day by connecting with the feeling of your desires fulfilled, then release them into the hands of the universe. Throughout your day, whenever you notice attachment or desperation arising, breathe deeply and return to trust. Practice seeing yourself as someone who already has what you want. Make decisions from that identity. Speak from that identity. Act from that identity. But do all of this without the frantic energy of someone trying to prove something to the world or to yourself. At night, before sleep, review your day and notice where you were attached and where you were detached. Celebrate the moments of detachment and gently correct the moments of attachment without judgment. This practice builds the muscle of sacred detachment over time. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant has learned the art of holding their dreams lightly while believing in them deeply. You're part of an ancient tradition of conscious creators who understand the power of detachment. When you embody this teaching, you become a beacon of possibility for others. Your peace and confidence inspire others to trust their own dreams. Your detachment gives others permission to release their desperate grip on outcomes. You become part of the solution to the world's problems because you're no longer adding to the energy of desperation and fear. You're contributing to the field of trust and allowing that makes miracles possible for everyone. Life is not a finite game where you win or lose, get what you want or don't. It's an infinite game where the purpose is to keep playing, to keep expanding, to keep creating. From this perspective, every desire is just another way to play, another way to experience the joy of creation. When you understand that life is an infinite game, detachment becomes natural. You're not desperate to win because there's no way to lose. You're not in a hurry because there's no finish line. You're not competing because there's room for everyone to have everything they want. This perspective transforms desire from desperate need to playful creation. You want things because it's fun to want them, not because you need them to be happy. This shift in perspective is the ultimate detachment. Develop a daily practice that reinforces this truth. Each morning, connect with the feeling of your desire fulfilled, then release it into the loving hands of the universe. Throughout your day, whenever you notice attachment arising, breathe deeply and return to your natural state of wholeness. Live as though your desire is already yours, but don't strain to make it appear. Act from the assumption that it's done, but don't force the universe to prove it to you. This balance of knowing and allowing is the essence of sacred detachment. Create rituals that support your practice. Light a candle and imagine releasing your desires into the flame. Write your desires on paper and then burn them as a symbol of release. Take walks in nature and practice feeling connected to the abundant creativity of life. When you're properly detached, you'll notice that signs and synchronicities begin to appear naturally in your life. But here's the key. Don't desperately search for these signs as proof that your manifestation is coming. Signs are breadcrumbs from consciousness, gentle confirmations that you're on the right path, but they're not the meal itself. Enjoy the signs when they appear, but don't become addicted to them. Some of my greatest manifestations came with no signs at all. They simply appeared when the time was right, when my consciousness was properly prepared to receive them. Signs and synchronicities are the universe's way of winking at you, of letting you know that magic is afoot. But remember, the real magic is happening in consciousness, not in the external world. The external signs are just reflections of the inner transformation. Money is one of the areas where attachment causes the most suffering. People grip money with fear, hoard it, worry about it, let it define their worth. But money, like everything else, flows most freely when you hold it lightly. Sacred detachment with money means appreciating what you have while being open to receiving more. It means spending from abundance rather than scarcity. It means trusting that there's always enough for everyone, including you. This doesn't mean being irresponsible with money or not caring about financial security. It means recognizing that your security comes from your connection to the infinite source of all supply, not from the amount in your bank account. When you detach from money anxiety, you make clearer financial decisions. When you're not desperately trying to get money, opportunities to earn it naturally appear. When you trust in abundance, abundance trusts in you. Sacred detachment profoundly impacts your physical health and vitality. When you're not constantly stressed about outcomes, your nervous system can relax. When you're not fighting reality, your body can heal. When you trust the process of life, your life force can flow freely. This doesn't mean not caring about your health or not taking action to improve it. It means not being attached to your body being perfect, not panicking about every symptom, not defining yourself by your physical limitations. Detachment allows your body's natural healing intelligence to function optimally. Stress and worry interfere with this intelligence, but peace and trust support it. When you detach from health anxiety, you often find that your health naturally improves. Sacred detachment transforms all your relationships. When you're not desperately needing anything from others, they feel free to give to you. When you're not trying to control how others behave, they naturally want to please you. When you're complete within yourself, others are drawn to your wholeness. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent in relationships. It means loving without conditions, giving without expecting returns, sharing without keeping score. This kind of love is magnetic because it's not based on need but on abundance. In romantic relationships, detachment allows love to flow freely. In business relationships, it creates trust and respect. In family relationships, it brings peace and harmony. Detachment is the secret to all successful relationships because it removes the pressure and allows natural connection to flourish. Sacred detachment also transforms your relationship with creativity and work. When you're not desperately attached to outcomes, you can take inspired risks. When you're not afraid of failure, you can attempt great things. When you're not dependent on external validation, you can create from your authentic self. This doesn't mean not caring about quality or success. It means caring so much about the process of creation that you're willing to let go of control over the results. It means trusting that when you create from a place of joy and authenticity, the results will naturally be aligned with your highest good. Detachment in creativity means being willing to let your work be what it wants to be, rather than forcing it to be what you think it should be. This allows for surprises, for breakthrough moments, for creations that exceed your expectations. Tonight, I invite you to experiment with this teaching. Choose one desire that you've been holding too tightly, one dream that you've been forcing with anxious energy. For the next 30 days, practice sacred detachment with this desire. Each day, spend a few minutes imagining it fulfilled, feeling it as real, knowing it as yours. Then release it completely. Don't check on its progress. Don't worry about the timing. Don't try to make it happen. Simply live from the assumption that it's already done and trust the universe to deliver it in the perfect way and time. Notice what begins to shift in your world when you stop strangling your dreams with desperation. Observe how much more peaceful and joyful you become when you're not constantly monitoring your manifestations. Watch how life begins to support you in ways you never expected when you allow rather than force. My beloved friends, I promise you this: when you master the art of sacred detachment, your entire life will transform. You'll move from being a person who chases dreams to a person who magnetically attracts their perfect life. You'll shift from effort to ease, from struggle to flow, from desperation to divine trust. Your desires will manifest not because you forced them to, but because you allowed them to. You'll realize that you were never separate from what you wanted. You were only separate from the feeling of having it. And when you reclaim that feeling and hold it lightly, the whole universe conspires to make it your physical reality. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Every moment you choose detachment over attachment, trust over fear, allowing over forcing, you're moving closer to mastery. Every time you catch yourself gripping too tightly and consciously release, you're building the muscle of sacred detachment. When you embody sacred detachment, the ripple effects extend far beyond your personal life. You become a force for healing in the world because you're no longer adding to the collective anxiety and desperation. You become a beacon of possibility because you demonstrate that it's possible to desire deeply while holding lightly. Your family feels more peaceful around you because you're not projecting your fears and attachments onto them. Your community benefits from your trust and confidence. The world becomes a little bit more loving because you've learned to love without conditions. This is how consciousness heals the world. One person at a time, learning to embody their highest nature, one individual at a time, discovering their power to create through love rather than fear. When you master detachment, you leave a legacy of possibility for future generations. You prove that it's possible to live with joy regardless of circumstances, to love without fear, to create without desperation. Your children and grandchildren will carry the imprint of your mastery, even if they never consciously understand what you've accomplished. Your peace becomes part of the morphic field of human consciousness, making it easier for others to find their own peace. This is the ultimate service, becoming so aligned with the truth of your being that you naturally lift others through your presence. This is how the world transforms, not through force or struggle, but through individuals who embody the change they wish to see. Remember, what is yours cannot pass you by. What belongs to you in consciousness must manifest in your experience. Your only job is to embody the state of having it, then detach from the process of receiving it. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust consciousness. And most importantly, trust yourself to hold your desires with the sacred detachment that allows miracles to unfold naturally and effortlessly. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and everything you could ever want already exists there. Stop looking outside for what can only be given from within. Rest in this truth, detach from the appearance of delay, and watch your world transform in ways that will amaze and delight you beyond your wildest imagination. This is the art of sacred detachment, and it is your birthright as a conscious creator. Claim it, practice it, live it, and watch your dreams become your reality through the gentle power of allowing. Tonight, as you go to sleep, carry with you the deep knowing that everything you desire is already yours in consciousness. Feel it, know it, trust it, then release it into the loving hands of the universe. Sleep in peace, knowing that while you rest, consciousness is working on your behalf to manifest your heart's deepest desires. Tomorrow, wake up as the person who already has what you want, but don't strain to make it appear. Live from that assumption, but don't force the universe to prove it to you. This is the dance of creation, assuming and releasing, knowing and allowing, desiring and detaching. Good night, my friends. Sleep in the consciousness of your fulfilled desires, and wake up tomorrow, ready to let them manifest through the beautiful art of sacred detachment.
Dear friends, what I'm about to share with you today could fundamentally change the trajectory of your life. So please listen carefully. I'm not here to sell you dreams or empty promises. I'm here to wake you up to a truth that's been sleeping within you your entire life. You are sitting on a gold mine, and you don't even know it. Every single day, you wake up with the most sophisticated wealth creation system ever designed, your own mind. Yet most people treat this incredible instrument like a broken radio, letting it play the same static of limitation, the same tired songs of "I can't afford it." Money doesn't grow on trees, and rich people are just lucky. Stop. Right now. Please stop. I want you to understand something profound. Your current financial situation is not your financial destiny. It's simply a photograph of your past thoughts, beliefs, and decisions. But here's the beautiful truth. You can burn that photograph today and start creating a masterpiece. The wealthiest people I've studied don't have special DNA. They weren't born with silver spoons or secret advantages. What they have is something far more powerful. They think differently about money. They see abundance where others see scarcity. They see opportunity where others see obstacles. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Neuroscientists have proven this repeatedly. When you imagine biting into a lemon, your mouth literally starts to water. When you imagine your financial success with enough detail and emotion, your brain begins rewiring itself to make that vision your reality. This isn't wishful thinking. This is neuroscience meets ancient wisdom. But here's what most people don't understand. Belief isn't just a casual thought or fleeting wish. It's an unshakable conviction that something is not only possible, but already in the process of becoming your reality. When you truly believe, not hope, not wish, but believe that wealth is your natural state, the entire universe begins to rearrange itself to match that belief. Think about this. Everything you see around you right now, the chair you're sitting in, the device you're watching this on, the building you're in, all of it started as someone's belief. Someone believed it was possible before it existed in the physical world. Your wealth is no different. It exists first in your mind, then in your reality. Right now, you have an invisible thermostat in your mind that's set to your current income level. When opportunities arise to earn more, your internal thermostat kicks in with thoughts like, "This is too good to be true," or "I don't deserve this." It pulls you back to what feels familiar, even if familiar means struggling. But thermostats can be reset. I challenge you to do something radical. For the next 30 seconds, I want you to imagine that you're already living the financial life of your dreams. Don't think about how, just imagine the feeling. Feel the weight lifted off your shoulders when bills arrive. Feel the confidence of knowing you can handle any financial emergency. Feel the joy of helping others because you have abundance to share. Did you feel that shift, that small flutter of excitement? That's your inner wealth recognizing itself. That feeling is more real than the numbers in your bank account right now. Your belief system is like the foundation of a house. If the foundation is weak, the house will crumble. If your belief in your ability to create wealth is shaky, your financial structure will always be unstable. But when you build an unshakable foundation of belief in your worthiness and capability, you can build any level of wealth on top of it. Learn to use the creative workshop of your mind. Your imagination is not just some frivolous fantasy machine, it's the most powerful creative workshop you possess. Every billionaire, every successful entrepreneur, every person who has ever created significant wealth started in the same place, their imagination. But here's the key: they didn't just daydream, they created detailed, vivid mental movies of their success. They saw themselves counting specific amounts of money. They felt the texture of crisp bills in their hands. They heard the sounds of prosperity, the notification of money hitting their bank account, the conversations with financial advisors, the discussions about investment opportunities. I want you to create your own mental movie right now. See yourself opening your bank statement and feeling pure joy at the numbers. Visualize yourself making a purchase without checking the price first. Picture yourself confidently discussing your latest business venture or investment. Make it so real that your body responds as if it's actually happening. The more detailed and emotionally charged your mental imagery becomes, the more your subconscious mind accepts it as real. And when your subconscious accepts something as real, it begins working around the clock to make it your physical reality. But don't just see the money, see the life it creates. Visualize the freedom to choose where you live based on desire, not necessity. See yourself traveling to places you've only dreamed of, not because you saved for years, but because you can. Picture the confidence that comes with financial security, the way it changes how you walk into a room, how you speak, how you make decisions. Learn to live in the future you've just created. Here's where most people make a critical mistake. They think of their wealth as something that will happen someday. This keeps wealth perpetually in the future, always just out of reach. Instead, you must learn to live in the end result, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled right now. Living in the end doesn't mean pretending or lying to yourself about your current circumstance. It means emotionally and mentally inhabiting the reality of already having what you desire. It's about making decisions from the mindset of someone who already has wealth, not someone who's desperately trying to get it. When you live in the end, you stop operating from lack and need. You stop chasing money and start attracting it. You begin to embody the energy of wealth, and that energy becomes a magnet for financial opportunities. Your current circumstances, your job, your bank account, your bills, these are not your reality. They're temporary conditions based on your past thinking. Your true reality is what you're creating right now with your thoughts, beliefs, and demands. Don't let temporary conditions dictate your permanent identity. I know this might sound abstract, so let me make it practical. If you were already wealthy, how would you carry yourself? How would you speak? What decisions would you make? What opportunities would you pursue? Start being that person now. Don't wait for the money to show up before you become the person who can handle it. You also need to speak the language of abundance. Words are spells, that's why it's called spelling. Every time you say, "I can't afford it," you're casting a spell of limitation. Every time you say, "Money is tight," you're commanding your reality to squeeze your finances. Your subconscious mind is always listening, and it takes your words as commands. It doesn't judge whether your words are beneficial or harmful. It simply works to make them true. This is why the language you use about money is so crucial. Starting today, I want you to change your language. Instead of "I can't afford it," say, "How can I afford it?" Instead of "I'm broke," say, "I'm between fortunes." Instead of "Money is the root of all evil," say, "Money is a tool for good in the right hands." Instead of "Rich people are greedy," say, "Wealthy people have the resources to make a difference." But here's the secret that makes affirmations truly powerful. You must feel the truth of what you're saying. Don't just repeat words mechanically. When you affirm money flows to me easily and effortlessly, take a moment to feel what that would be like. When you declare I am financially abundant, connect with the emotion of abundance. Your words must carry the energy of conviction, not desperation. They should come from a place of knowing, not hoping. The universe responds to the energy behind your words, not just the words themselves. Here's something crucial that most people miss. Thinking about wealth isn't enough. You must feel wealthy. Emotion is the fuel that powers manifestation. Without the emotional charge, your desires remain as dormant as seeds without water. When you visualize your wealth, you must feel the emotions that come with it. Feel the relief of financial security. Feel the excitement of unlimited possibilities. Feel the gratitude for abundance. Feel the confidence that comes with knowing you're financially free. These emotions aren't just byproducts of your visualization. They're the driving force that propels your desires into physical reality. The universe responds to your emotional frequency. When you consistently emit the frequency of wealth and abundance, you attract circumstances that match that frequency. Think about it this way. When you're truly excited about something, doesn't it seem like everything aligns to help it happen? When you're passionate and enthusiastic, don't people want to help you? Don't opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere? This is the power of emotional alignment. But here's the challenge. You must feel wealthy regardless of your current circumstances. You can't wait for your bank account to grow before you feel abundant. You must feel abundant first, and then watch as your external reality catches up to your internal state. This isn't about denial or fake it till you make it. This is about recognizing that your emotional state is a choice and choosing the emotions that serve your highest vision for your life. Have a vision that pulls you forward. Here's what separates dreamers from achievers. Specificity. Dreamers wish for more money. Achievers decide on exact amounts and create detailed visions of their wealthy life. I want you to get specific. Not someday, not eventually, right now. What does your wealthy life look like? Are you traveling first class to destinations you've only dreamed of? Are you living in a home that reflects your success? Are you driving a car that makes you smile every time you see it? But go deeper than material things. How does financial freedom feel? What does it mean to wake up without financial anxiety? What does it feel like to make decisions based on what you want, not what you can afford? See yourself walking into a luxury car dealership, not to browse, but to buy. Feel the leather seats, smell that new car scent, hear the engine purr. Make it so real that your nervous system responds as if it's happening right now. Picture yourself house hunting, but this time you're not looking at what you can afford. You're choosing what you want. See yourself walking through your dream home, feeling the satisfaction of knowing it's yours. Visualize checking your investment portfolio and feeling deep satisfaction at the numbers. See yourself having conversations with financial advisors about your growing wealth, discussing strategies for managing and multiplying your money. This vision isn't fantasy, it's your future calling you forward. The more clearly and consistently you can see it, the more powerfully it will pull you toward itself. Learn the strategic art of detachment. Here's a paradox that confuses many people. You must be intensely focused on your goal while simultaneously detached from how it will manifest. You must care deeply about the end result while not caring about the specific path to get there. Most people make the mistake of trying to micromanage their manifestation. They become attached to specific methods, timelines, and circumstances. But this attachment creates resistance and anxiety, which actually pushes away what they're trying to attract. True manifestation requires what I call strategic detachment. You hold your vision firmly in your mind, you feel the emotions of already having it, you take inspired action when it presents itself, but you don't try to control every detail of how it unfolds. Think of it like planting a seed. You plant it, water it, make sure it gets sunlight, but you don't dig it up every day to check on its progress. You trust the natural process of growth. Your financial goals work the same way. The universe has access to resources, connections, and opportunities that you don't even know exist. When you try to control exactly how your wealth will come to you, you limit yourself to only what you can imagine. But when you detach from the how and focus on the what and the why, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your current comprehension. This doesn't mean you become passive. Inspired action is still essential, but inspired action comes from a place of excitement and opportunity, not desperation and forcing. When you're truly aligned with your vision, the right actions will feel natural and energizing, not forced and exhausting. Use gratitude as a multiplier. Here's a secret that many manifestation teachers miss. Gratitude isn't just about being thankful for what you have. Strategic gratitude is about being thankful for what's coming. When you express genuine gratitude for the wealth that's on its way to you, you align yourself with the frequency of receiving. Start each day by saying thank you for the abundance that's flowing into my life today. Feel grateful for opportunities you haven't even discovered yet. Express appreciation for the financial breakthrough that's preparing itself for you. But don't just be grateful for money. Be grateful for your ability to create wealth. Be grateful for your imagination, your creativity, your unique talents and skills. Be grateful for the opportunities that exist in the world today that didn't exist even a few years ago. Be grateful for every small sign of abundance that shows up in your life. When you find a penny on the ground, when someone buys you coffee, when you receive an unexpected discount, acknowledge these as signs that the universe is conspiring to bring you abundance. This isn't delusion. This is preparation. You're preparing your mind to recognize and receive the wealth that's seeking you. Every morning, when you wake up, you have a choice. You can either spend your mental energy focusing on what you lack, or you can invest it in creating what you desire. This choice compounds over time. Imagine two people with identical circumstances. One spends their mental energy worrying about bills, complaining about their situation, and feeling envious of others' success. The other spends their mental energy visualizing their success, planning their moves, and maintaining unwavering faith in their ability to create wealth. After 1 year, these two people will be living completely different realities, not because of luck, but because of the compound effect of their daily mental choices. Your beliefs about money were programmed into you from childhood. You heard conversations about money. You observed your parents' relationship with money. You absorbed cultural messages about wealth and success. Most of these programs were installed without your conscious consent, and many of them don't serve your highest good. But here's the empowering truth. You can reprogram your beliefs. You can choose new thoughts about money. You can create new neural pathways that support abundance instead of scarcity. Every time you choose a thought of abundance over a thought of lack, you're strengthening your wealth consciousness. Every time you speak words of prosperity instead of poverty, you're rewiring your brain for success. Every time you feel grateful for your financial blessings instead of focusing on what you don't have, you're aligning yourself with the flow of abundance. Now let's talk about the power of inspired action. Here's where many people get confused. They think manifestation means sitting around waiting for money to fall from the sky. That's not how this works. Manifestation is about aligning your inner world with your desires and then taking inspired action from that aligned state. When you're truly aligned with wealth consciousness, you'll find yourself having conversations you wouldn't normally have, noticing opportunities that were always there but invisible to your scarcity mindset, feeling compelled to learn new skills or explore new ventures, making connections with people who can help accelerate your success, taking risks that your old self would have been too afraid to take. This is inspired action, action that comes from alignment, not desperation. It feels energizing rather than exhausting, exciting rather than fearful, natural rather than forced. But here's the key. You must be willing to act when inspiration strikes. The universe is constantly sending you signs, opportunities, and impulses toward your wealth. But if you ignore them or make excuses, they'll stop coming. Pay attention to your intuition. When you get an idea for a business, a sudden urge to call someone, or an impulse to attend an event, follow it. These seemingly random impulses might be the universe's way of guiding you toward your financial breakthrough. As you start to experience more financial success, you'll hit what psychologists call your upper limit. This is when your old programming kicks in and tries to sabotage your progress. You might make a foolish financial decision, pick a fight with someone important, or find another way to pull yourself back to your old comfort zone. Recognize this for what it is: growing pains. Your identity is expanding to accommodate your new level of wealth, and that expansion can feel uncomfortable. Don't let temporary discomfort rob you of permanent success. When you hit your upper limit, remind yourself, I am safe in my success. I deserve this abundance. I can handle this level of wealth responsibly. You might also experience what I call wealth guilt, the feeling that you don't deserve money or that having money makes you somehow bad or greedy. This is just old programming trying to keep you small. Remember that money is neutral. It's what you do with it that matters. The world needs more good people with money. When you become wealthy, you can fund causes you care about, help people in need, create jobs, and make a positive impact on the world. Your wealth isn't selfish, it's service. When you become wealthy, you don't just change your own life. You become a force for good in the world. You create jobs, support businesses, contribute to charities, and inspire others to believe in their own potential. Your wealth isn't selfish, It's necessary. The world needs people who understand money as a force for good, who will use their resources to solve problems and elevate humanity. Think about the impact your wealth will have. Maybe you'll start a scholarship fund for underprivileged students. Maybe you'll invest in clean energy companies. Maybe you'll help family members achieve their dreams. Maybe you'll fund research for diseases that need curing. Your financial success gives you the power to make a difference. Every dollar you earn is a vote for the kind of world you want to create. When you earn money ethically and use it wisely, you're contributing to the greater good. This perspective shift, from seeing wealth as selfish to seeing it as service, can be incredibly powerful in overcoming any guilt or resistance you might have about becoming wealthy. The time is now. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting until you know more, have more connections, or feel more ready. The universe responds to action, not intention. Your wealthy life is waiting for you to claim it, but it won't wait forever. Every day you delay taking aligned action toward your financial goals is another day your dreams remain dreams. Instead of becoming your reality, the perfect time to start is now. Not when you have more time, not when you have more money, not when you feel more confident. Start with whatever you have, wherever you are. If you can only spare 10 minutes a day for wealth visualization, start there. If you can only invest $10, start there. If you can only take one small action toward your financial goals, start there. The universe rewards action, not perfection. Every step you take toward your wealth, no matter how small, is a signal to the universe that you're serious about your financial transformation. Let me give you a practical daily routine that will reprogram your mind for wealth. Number 1, morning wealth ritual. Spend 5 minutes visualizing your wealthy life in vivid detail. Speak your wealth affirmations with conviction and emotion. Write down 3 actions you can take today to move toward your financial goals. Express gratitude for the abundance that's flowing into your life. Number 2, throughout the day, notice every sign of abundance around you. Speak only words that affirm your wealth and success. Take at least one action that aligns with your wealthy identity. Make decisions from the mindset of someone who already has wealth. Number 3, evening wealth review. Celebrate any progress you made toward your financial goals, no matter how small. Visualize your wealth growing while you sleep. Express gratitude for the opportunities that came your way. Set intentions for tomorrow's wealth-building activities. This isn't just busy work. This is actively reprogramming your subconscious mind for financial success. The more consistently you do this, the faster your external reality will shift to match your internal transformation. Here's the final truth I want to leave you with. You already have everything you need to become wealthy. You have a mind that can imagine. You have emotions that can fuel your dreams. You have the ability to speak your desires into existence. You have the power to take action toward your goals. The only thing standing between you and the wealth you desire is your willingness to claim it. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel more worthy. Now, your abundance is waiting. Go claim it. The answer to whether you're ready will determine everything that happens next in your financial life. Choose wisely. Choose boldly. Choose wealth. Remember, your current situation is not your final destination. You have everything within you right now to create the wealthy life you desire. Trust the process. Take aligned action and watch as your reality transforms to match your vision. The time for excuses is over. The time for wealth is now.
If you're skeptical about the power of manifestation in the law of attraction, you might want to stop watching right now. But if you believe, deep down, that there's a force at work in the universe, a force that listens to your every word and can change the course of your entire life, then you need to hear this, because here's the truth. If you don't understand the power you hold with your words, you could be missing out on everything. Imagine living your life just one step away from everything you've ever wanted: wealth, freedom, abundance, and not even knowing it. Today, you'll learn a technique that only a few people know, one that could unlock wealth for you almost instantly. And we're not talking about just any technique. We're diving deep into the power of a single word, originating from Aramaic, that has the potential to align your vibration with the energy of abundance. Before we get into the secret that could completely change your financial life, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this video with anyone who might benefit from hearing this message. Also, leave a comment below to express your gratitude to the universe. When you do this, you're not just spreading positivity, you're also activating a cycle of energy that reverberates outward, bringing everything you desire back into your life. Now, let's get started. Aramaic is one of the oldest and most spiritually significant languages known to humanity. It was widely spoken in the Middle East during the time of Jesus, and many believe that he himself used Aramaic to convey his spiritual messages. But why is this important to us today? According to spiritual scholars, Aramaic carries a unique vibrational frequency that is deeply connected to the universe and its energies. This means that it is not just any ordinary language. It's a language with the power to subtly influence the physical world in profound ways. Aramaic words, especially those used in spiritual practices, are seen as keys to accessing higher vibrational frequencies. These frequencies are capable of influencing and shaping our reality in ways we may not even fully understand. Imagine having the ability to use a word that carries this energy to align your life with prosperity. The concept is simple. When you speak this word, you're not just making a sound, you're activating a frequency, a wave of energy that can actually transform your reality. It sounds powerful, doesn't it? But before I reveal this word, it's important that we first understand the context and depth of this practice. Let's talk about the power of words. You've likely heard that words have power, but what does that really mean? For countless spiritual leaders and mystics throughout history, words are so much more than just sounds. They carry a vibrational energy that can change the course of events. The right words, spoken at the right time, have the power to influence your reality. This is the foundation of the law of attraction. Everything in the universe vibrates, including our thoughts, emotions, and of course, our words. Words are like energetic seeds that we plant in the world, and they grow to shape our experiences. The vibrational frequency of Aramaic words, in particular, is incredibly powerful. As an ancient language, it's filled with spiritual meaning, and it emits a pure vibration that aligns perfectly with the universal energies. When you speak a word in Aramaic, you're not just making a sound, you're releasing a wave of energy into the world, a wave that aligns with your desires, helping you manifest them into your reality. But here's the thing, for this to work, you need more than just knowledge of the word itself. You need to truly understand how words influence your vibration and, consequently, your reality. If everything in the universe is energy, as the law of attraction suggests, then so are our words, thoughts, and feelings. When we speak, we emit vibrations that affect both the environment around us and ourselves. What we say creates ripples in the energy around us, and those ripples shape our experiences. Therefore, if you want to attract wealth, you need to align your vibration with the frequency of abundance. This is where the Aramaic word comes in. It acts as a true frequency tuner. It not only aligns your vibration, but also intensifies your connection with the universal flow of prosperity. That's what makes it so special. However, before revealing this magic word, it's crucial to understand that simply pronouncing a sound isn't enough. It takes more than that. The real key to manifesting wealth lies in the intention and emotion you put into using the word. There's no point in saying something mechanically without truly believing in what you're saying. The power of manifestation only occurs when there is a genuine connection between what you say and what you feel. This is one of the best-kept secrets of the law of attraction. So the first step is to align your mind and heart with the vibration of the word. How do you do this? First, you need to create a mental and emotional space that is conducive to manifestation. This means eliminating doubts and disbelief that may be blocking your path to prosperity. Now, imagine yourself in the near future, where you've already reaped the rewards of this learning. Visualize yourself living in abundance, with all your financial needs being met in a natural and fluid way. Feel what it would be like to have a life free from financial worries, where money flows to you abundantly and constantly. This visualization is an essential component of aligning your vibration with that of prosperity. When you can feel the excitement of already having what you want, you accelerate the manifestation process. And here comes another important aspect: repetition. It's not enough to say the word once and expect wealth to simply appear. The manifestation process requires persistence and dedication. By repeating the word, you are reinforcing the connection between your mind, your emotions, and the vibrational frequency of abundance. Each time you speak the word with intention, you strengthen this connection. Eventually, this will be reflected in your physical reality. So get ready to incorporate this practice into your daily routine. Remember, manifestation is not something that happens overnight, though in some cases, it may seem instantaneous. What really matters is consistency and faith in the process. By using this word daily, you will be sending a clear signal to the universe that you are ready to receive all the abundance it has to offer. And best of all, the manifestation of wealth can happen in unexpected ways, whether through a new opportunity, a salary increase, or even a financial surprise. The important thing is to be open to receive. Before venturing into manifesting wealth through the Aramaic word, mental and emotional preparation plays a crucial role. It's not enough to simply utter a powerful word. You must create the right environment for this practice to be effective. This includes not only choosing a quiet location, but also cultivating an internal state of peace and focus, which is necessary for your mind and energy to be completely aligned with your desires. Imagine yourself in a calm place, free from external distractions. It could be a quiet room in your home, an outdoor space where you feel connected to nature, or even a comfortable corner where you meditate. The important thing is that you are fully present in the moment. Breathe deeply and allow stress, anxiety, or any other negative emotions that are clouding your focus to gradually fade away. This is the essential first step to manifesting what you want. Your mind needs to be clear and focused. Visualizing your wealth before using the Aramaic word is another key part of this process. When you can imagine yourself already living the reality you want to manifest, you create an energetic field around you that begins to attract what you desire. Visualize yourself receiving large sums of money, achieving financial independence, or enjoying a life of abundance. The more vivid and clear this visualization is, the greater its impact on your manifestation practice. This preparation is actually what creates the foundation for effective Aramaic word usage. Without this emotional connection, without creating this conducive internal and external environment, words alone won't carry the full power they possess. No matter how powerful words may be, they will not have the desired effect without the right intention and emotional state behind them. Remember, words are vehicles of energy, but it is your intention and emotional state that guide that energy to the right place. Now, let's move on to the revelation of the Aramaic word itself. It is shlama. When spoken with intention, especially in the context of the law of attraction and manifesting wealth, shlama is much more than just peace in the sense of tranquility. It represents a state of harmony with the universe. When you say shlama, you are not only seeking a feeling of inner calm, you are declaring vibrationally that you are in complete alignment with the flow of abundance that permeates the universe. It's as if this word were a code, one that tunes your energy to the frequency of prosperity. But how does this happen? The secret lies in the vibration of the word itself. Words are much more than just sounds, they are manifestations of energy. Every word we speak has a vibrational frequency, and shlama is a word that, when spoken, reverberates with a particularly high and powerful frequency. This frequency not only resonates with peace, but also with prosperity, harmony, and abundance. By using it consciously, you are, in fact, opening doors for wealth to flow naturally into your life. Imagine yourself saying this word calmly, with intention, as you visualize yourself achieving your financial goals. When you speak shlama, you are connecting with this high vibrational frequency, adjusting your own energy to align with the flow of universal wealth. This is the key to manifesting wealth more easily. Now that you know the word, let's dive into how to use it practically. Repetition of shlama should be done regularly, incorporating it into your daily meditation routine, or even saying it before bed. The more you repeat the word, the more deeply you connect with its vibration. It's like tuning a radio station. The longer you stay on the right frequency, the clearer the signal becomes. One powerful practice that many law of attraction followers recommend is writing the word shlama on a piece of paper and placing it under your pillow before bed. During sleep, our subconscious mind becomes more receptive, and this word, now carrying your intention of prosperity, begins to work on a deeper level, aligning your energies with abundance as you rest. Another ideal time to use this word is during your visualization practice, when you're visualizing your desires already fulfilled, whether it's living in a new house, traveling the world, or achieving your financial goals. Repeating shlama helps anchor that visualization in reality. The vibration of the word strengthens the mental image you are creating, making the manifestation even more powerful. The key here is consistency. Shlama is not a magic word that instantly transforms your life. Rather, it is a powerful manifestation tool when used correctly. It is through conscious repetition and emotional connection that you begin to see changes in your financial life. By following these steps, using shlama in your daily routine, and maintaining a clear visualization of your desires, you will start to notice significant shifts in your life. The manifestation of wealth often doesn't happen miraculously overnight. Instead, it manifests through opportunities, new paths, and a subtle change in your mindset. Over time, you will notice new doors opening, whether through a promotion at work, new business ideas, or even unexpected gains. Furthermore, one of the most profound effects of this practice is internal transformation. You will begin to develop an abundance mindset, seeing money not as something scarce, but as a continuous flow from the universe that is always available to you. That's the true power of shlama. It not only attracts material wealth, but also changes your perception of money, making it something natural in your life. When you are in tune with this vibration, you stop worrying about lack and begin to feel worthy of all the abundance the universe has to offer. And remember, continuous practice is key. Try using the word for at least 21 days in a row and notice the changes that begin to unfold. Manifestation often comes in ways you can't even imagine. Being open to these possibilities is the secret to receiving the wealth you desire.
Good evening, my friends. The truth I'm going to reveal tonight will shatter one of the most persistent illusions that keeps humanity trapped in endless cycles of wanting, hoping, and never receiving. That illusion is this: the belief that you must see signs before you can believe, that manifestation is a slow process, that you must wait for evidence before you can know your desire is real. Where are the signs? You cry. Give me proof that this is working. I've been imagining for weeks. Where are the results? These are the desperate pleas I hear from students all across the country. These are the very words that reveal why their desires remain locked away from them. Tonight, I declare to you a truth so revolutionary, so contrary to everything you've been taught, that your mind will resist it. Manifestation is always instant, always. And the very act of looking for signs is the great destroyer of manifestation itself. You see, when you look for signs, you're unconsciously declaring that your desire hasn't manifested yet. You're living in the state of waiting for it to happen, rather than knowing it has happened. And that state, that consciousness of waiting, is exactly what you'll continue to experience. I can see some of you shifting uncomfortably in your seats. Good. Truth should disturb you. It should shake you awake from the comfortable lie that manifestation is about time, about effort, about deserving, about signs. Let me shatter another illusion for you. Manifestation is not about time. It's about assumption. It's not about effort. It's about acceptance. It's not about deserving. It's about consciousness. The moment, the very instant, you truly assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that desire is completely manifest in consciousness. Not partially, not gradually, completely. And consciousness, whether you believe it or not, is the only reality there is. Now you're asking the burning question. If manifestation is instant, Neville, why don't I see results immediately? Why does it sometimes take weeks, months, or even years for things to appear in my physical world? Listen closely, for this is where most students lose their way. The delay you experience is not in the manifestation. It's in your acceptance of the manifestation. Your desire is not slowly coming to you. You are slowly coming to your desire. You're gradually moving into the state of consciousness where your fulfilled desire feels natural, normal, inevitable. A desperate woman once confronted me after a lecture in New York. She was trembling with frustration. "Mr. Goddard," she said, her voice breaking, "I've been imagining prosperity for 3 months, every night, faithfully. But I see nothing. My bills pile higher, my bank account shrinks, my creditors call daily. Where are the signs? Where is even one small indication that this is working?" I looked into her eyes and saw immediately why her prosperity remained elusive. "Madam," I said gently but firmly, "you have just confessed your sin. You are looking for signs. Every morning when you wake, what do you do first?" "I check my bank account," she admitted. "And what are you looking for?" "To see if money has appeared." "And when you find the balance unchanged, what do you feel?" Her shoulders sagged. Disappointment. Doubt, fear that it's not working. "Then you have your answer," I told her. "You are not imagining from prosperity. You are imagining toward it. You are not assuming abundance. You are hoping for it. And hope, dear lady, is the great destroyer of all manifestation." What I taught her next changed her life forever. I leaned forward and spoke words that cut through her desperation like a sword through silk. Stop looking for signs and start being the sign. If you were truly prosperous, not hoping to be, not trying to be, but actually prosperous in consciousness, would you be frantically checking your bank account each morning? Would you be searching your mailbox like a beggar looking for scraps? The question hung in the air between us. I could see the truth dawning in her eyes. A prosperous woman, I continued, wakes with the quiet confidence of someone whose abundance is assured. She moves through her day making decisions from plenty, not scarcity. She doesn't look for prosperity because she lives from prosperity. This woman made a decision that night that transformed everything. She stopped her morning ritual of checking her bank account. She stopped scanning her mail for unexpected money. She stopped asking the universe for signs. Instead, she began each day feeling the contentment of a woman whose financial worries were behind her. The change was swift and dramatic. Within weeks, opportunities appeared from the most unexpected sources. Old debts were repaid. New income streams opened. And prosperity flowed into her life with such naturalness that she later told me it felt not like a miracle, but like the inevitable unfolding of what had always been true. But mark this well. She stopped looking for her prosperity the moment she started living from it. This reveals the great secret that mystics throughout the ages have whispered in sacred chambers. When you stop looking for your manifestation and start living from it, the physical world has no choice but to conform to your assumption. But why is this principle so difficult for the human mind to grasp? Because we have been trained backwards, conditioned to believe in a sequence that doesn't exist. We think first desire, then effort, then signs, then manifestation. This is the great lie. The true sequence is this. Desire appears, manifestation occurs instantly in consciousness, acceptance gradually dawns, and finally, inevitably, reflection appears in the physical world. Most souls get trapped in the middle phase. They desire, the desire manifests immediately in consciousness, but then they panic and start searching for external proof before they'll accept what has already been completed in the realm of reality. It's as if you planted a seed in perfect soil, then spent every day digging it up to see if it was growing. The very searching destroys what you seek. Consider another case that came to my attention. A young man burning with love for a woman who seemed as distant as the stars. For months he had been faithfully imagining conversations with her, seeing himself as her chosen one, feeling the bliss of being beloved by her. Yet each day brought fresh torment. He analyzed every glance she gave him. He dissected every word she spoke. He read meaning into every pause, every smile, every gesture. Surely, he thought, if my imagination is working, there must be some sign in her behavior. When he came to me, his eyes were hollow with exhaustion. "Mr. Goddard," he said, "I've been so faithful to my imaginal acts, but she shows no interest. If anything, she seems more distant than before. How long must I wait for signs that she's beginning to love me?" "Young man," I replied, "you've answered your own question without knowing it. You're waiting for signs. Every moment you spend analyzing her behavior for evidence of love, you're affirming that she doesn't love you yet. You're living in the consciousness of hoping to be loved, rather than knowing you are beloved." I could see the confusion in his face, so I spoke more directly. "Tell me, when a man knows he is deeply loved by a woman, does he spend his days anxiously searching her face for proof? Does he analyze her every word for hidden meaning? No, he simply enjoys the love that exists between them." The transformation in his understanding was immediate. "You're saying I should act as if she already loves me." "I'm saying something far more radical than that," I replied. "I'm saying she does already love you in consciousness, where all reality exists. Your only task is to stop contradicting that reality with your seeking and start living from it with your being." What happened next demonstrates the power of this principle perfectly. The moment he stopped searching her behavior for signs of love and started simply being a man who was loved, everything changed. He became relaxed in her presence instead of anxious. He was naturally himself instead of performing for her approval. He spoke to her from confidence instead of need. Within a fortnight, she began responding to him completely differently. Within a month, she was seeking his company. Within 3 months, she had declared her love for him in words that echoed exactly what he had been imagining all along. But here's what fascinated me most about his account. When she finally spoke those words of love, he felt no surprise, no excitement, no sense of miracle accomplished. Instead, he felt a deep satisfaction, as if something that had always been true was finally being acknowledged by the world of appearances. This is your sign that manifestation has truly occurred in consciousness, when the physical manifestation feels inevitable rather than miraculous, natural rather than supernatural, obvious rather than amazing. Now, I must address the question that's burning in many of your minds tonight. "But Mr. Goddard, surely it's natural to want some confirmation that our imagination is working. How can we know we're not simply deceiving ourselves?" Ah, there's the trap. You want to know if it's working? Then answer me this. If you were living in the end result of your fulfilled desire, would you be asking if it was working? Would a happily married woman wonder if her marriage was real? Would a truly wealthy man question whether his prosperity existed? The very need for confirmation reveals that you're not living from your desire. You're still living toward it. Here's a truth that will liberate you. When you're genuinely living from your assumption, You don't need external validation because you are the validation. Your entire being becomes evidence of the reality you're inhabiting in consciousness. Let me illustrate this with a story that reveals the profound difference between seeking proof and being proof. A businessman approached me in desperation. His company was failing, creditors were circling, and bankruptcy seemed inevitable. He had been imagining success for months, but saw no change in his circumstances. "Mr. Goddard," he said, "I visualize prosperity every day, but my accountant shows me nothing but red ink. I pray for a sign, just one indication that my situation is improving. Instead, everything gets worse. How much longer must I wait for evidence that imagination works?" I studied his face and saw immediately the source of his continued struggle. "Sir," I said, "you speak of waiting for evidence, but tell me, when you wake each morning, what do you do first?" "I check my bank balance and review my debts." "And what are you looking for?" "Some sign of improvement, some indication that things are changing." "And when you find no such indication?" He slumped in his chair. "I feel defeated, hopeless, like a fool for believing in imagination." "Then you have solved the mystery of your continued failure," I told him. "Every morning you are not rising as a successful businessman. You are rising as a man checking to see if he is successful. Can you see the difference?" He sat in silence, the truth of my words sinking in. Finally he spoke. "You're saying that by looking for signs of success, I'm actually affirming my current failure." "Precisely. A truly successful man doesn't wake wondering if his success is real. He wakes knowing it, feeling it, living from it. His decisions flow from success. His thoughts originate in success. His very posture embodies success." I gave him specific instruction. "For the next 30 days, you are forbidden to check your bank balance. You are forbidden to review your debts. You are forbidden to ask your accountant for updates. Instead, every morning you will spend 10 minutes feeling the satisfaction of a man whose business thrives beyond his wildest expectations. Feel the relief. Feel the pride. Feel the joy of abundance." "But what about my actual bills?" he protested. "What about the creditors calling?" Pay what you can pay from your consciousness of abundance, not scarcity. Make decisions from success, not desperation. And above all, stop looking for signs that you're becoming successful. Start being successful in consciousness right now. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Though by the time it manifested, it felt perfectly natural to him. Within 2 weeks, an old business associate contacted him with an unexpected partnership opportunity. Within a month, new contracts appeared from sources he'd never imagined. Within 3 months, his company was not just stable but thriving. But the most remarkable part of his testimony was this: "Mr. Goddard, by the time these opportunities appeared, I wasn't even surprised. I had been living from success for so long, in consciousness, that the external success felt like it was simply catching up to where I already was. This is the key to understanding why manifestation is always instant, yet sometimes appears to take time. The manifestation occurs instantly in consciousness. The physical reflection appears when you fully accepted and embodied that consciousness." But the most remarkable part of his testimony was this: "Mr. Goddard, by the time these opportunities appeared, I wasn't even surprised. I had been living from success for so long in consciousness that the external success felt like it was simply catching up to where I already was. This is the key to understanding why manifestation is always instant, yet sometimes appears to take time. The manifestation occurs instantly in consciousness. The physical reflection appears when you fully accepted and embodied that consciousness." Let me explain this even more clearly. Imagine consciousness as a vast ocean. Your desire exists in that ocean as a perfect, complete reality right now. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you dive into that ocean and touch that reality. It's there, it's complete, it's real. But most people, the moment they touch it, panic and swim back to the shore of their old consciousness. Did I really touch it? They wonder. Let me look for signs that it's there. And in that looking, they've already left the ocean where their desire exists and returned to the barren shore of seeking. To manifest in the physical world, you must learn to live in that ocean. You must make your home in the consciousness where your desire exists. Stop swimming back to shore to look for footprints. Stop searching for evidence that the ocean is real. Simply live in it, breathe in it, move in it, until that watery world becomes more natural to you than dry land. Then, and only then, will you look around and find that the physical world has somehow become the ocean you were living in all along. Now some of you are thinking, but Neville, what about synchronicities? What about meaningful coincidences? Aren't those signs that our manifestation is coming? Listen carefully, for this distinction is crucial. True synchronicities occur when you're living from your assumption, not when you're looking for proof of it. When you're genuinely inhabiting the consciousness of your fulfilled desire, the universe naturally rearranges itself to support that state. Events occur, people appear, opportunities emerge, but these are not signs that your manifestation is coming. They are expressions of the manifestation that has already occurred in consciousness and is now reflecting into the physical world. The difference? When you're looking for signs, you see them as proof that you're on the right track, and you feel relief. See? It's working. But when you're living from your assumption, synchronicities feel perfectly natural, even expected. Of course this happened. This is consistent with who I am. One is the consciousness of seeking. The other is the consciousness of being. A woman came to me once with an interesting observation. She said, "Mr. Goddard, I've noticed something strange. When I desperately looked for signs that my desire was manifesting, I saw none. But now that I've stopped looking and simply lived from my fulfilled desire, I see synchronicities everywhere. Why is that?" I smiled at her question because it revealed her growth in understanding. "My dear," I said, "you've discovered one of the great paradoxes of manifestation. When you look for signs, you see none, because your looking comes from lack. But when you stop looking and simply live from fulfillment, signs appear everywhere because your being creates them. It's like this," I continued. "A desperate person looks at a closed door and sees only an obstacle. But a confident person looks at the same door and sees an opportunity. They simply open it and walk through. The door hasn't changed. The consciousness observing it has changed." She understood immediately. The synchronicities had always been there, but only when she stopped looking for them as proof of something coming could she see them as expressions of something that already was. Here's a practical technique I want to share with you tonight. Something you can apply immediately. Tonight, when you lie down to sleep, choose one desire, just one. Instead of imagining it coming to you, imagine that it has been yours for quite some time. Imagine the naturalness of it, the ordinariness of it, the taken for granted quality of it. If you're manifesting prosperity, don't imagine receiving money. Imagine the comfortable feeling of someone who has had abundance for years. Feel the casualness with which you make financial decisions. Feel the ease, the security, the confidence that comes from long-established prosperity. If you're manifesting love, don't imagine the moment of falling in love. Imagine the comfortable intimacy of a relationship that has matured over time. Feel the security of being deeply known and cherished. Feel the ease of being with someone who loves you completely. Can you feel the difference? One consciousness is anticipating, waiting, hoping. The other is relaxing, enjoying, being. One is looking toward a future moment. The other is living in an eternal present. And here's what will happen when you truly embody this consciousness. When you genuinely live from the assumption that your desire has been fulfilled for quite some time, you'll stop looking for signs. Not because you've given up, but because you're already living in the fulfillment. A sign indicates something that might be coming. But you don't need signs when you're already there. If you're manifesting love, don't imagine the moment of falling in love. Imagine the comfortable intimacy of a relationship that has matured over time. Feel the security of being deeply known and cherished. Feel the ease of being with someone who loves you completely. Can you feel the difference? One consciousness is anticipating, waiting, hoping. The other is relaxing, enjoying, being. One is looking toward a future moment. The other is living in an eternal present. And here's what will happen. When you truly embody this consciousness, when you genuinely live from the assumption that your desire has been fulfilled for quite some time, you'll stop looking for signs, not because you've given up, but because you're already living in the fulfillment. A sign indicates something that might be coming, but you don't need signs when you're already there. Let me share one final story that encapsulates everything I've taught tonight. Years ago, when I was still in Barbados, I had an intense desire to come to New York to study these very principles I now teach. But my circumstances seemed impossibly opposed to this desire. I had no money, no connections, no apparent way to make this journey. Most people in my position would have looked for signs. They would have watched for opportunities, searched for open doors, waited for indications that their desire was possible. But I had already learned the secret I'm sharing with you tonight. I didn't look for signs that I would go to New York. Instead, I went to New York in consciousness. Every night I fell asleep walking the streets of that great city. I felt the different air, saw the tall buildings, heard the sounds of Manhattan. I lived there so completely in consciousness that Barbados began to feel like the dream and New York like the reality. I didn't wait for signs. I didn't look for opportunities. I simply lived from the assumption that I belonged in New York, and I let the physical world catch up to where I already was in consciousness. And it did, in ways I could never have predicted or planned. Opportunities appeared, doors opened, and within months I found myself physically standing on the streets I had walked nightly in imagination. But by the time my feet touched New York pavement, I felt no sense of miracle or surprise. I felt I had finally arrived at a destination I'd been living in for months. The physical journey was merely the final step in a journey that had been completed in consciousness long before. This is what I mean when I say manifestation is always instant. The moment I truly assumed I belonged in New York, I was there, in consciousness, which is the only reality. The physical journey was simply the shadow catching up to the substance, the reflection conforming to the real. So tonight I leave you with this challenge. Choose one desire. Stop looking for signs that it's coming. Stop searching for evidence that it's possible. Stop wondering if it's working. Instead, assume it has already happened. Not that it will happen, not that it's trying to happen, but that it has happened. Assume you've been living in the fulfillment of this desire for quite some time. Let yourself feel the naturalness of it, the ordinariness of it, the taken for granted quality of it, and then, most importantly, live from that assumption regardless of what your physical senses tell you. When your bank account contradicts your assumed prosperity, live from prosperity anyway. When your empty apartment contradicts your assumed love, live from love anyway. When your current circumstances contradict your assumed success, live from success anyway. Not because you're denying reality, but because you're affirming the only reality that exists, consciousness. And consciousness, lived faithfully and persistently, must manifest in the physical world. It has no choice. It is law. Stop looking for signs, my friends. Start being the sign. Stop waiting for evidence. Start being the evidence. Stop hoping for manifestation. Start living from the manifestation that has already occurred in the eternal now of consciousness. Your desire is not coming to you. You are finally accepting your desire. And the moment you stop looking for it out there and start living from it in here, in consciousness, that's the moment it will surround you everywhere. The power is yours. The choice is yours. The manifestation is yours. It always has been. You're just learning to stop looking for what you already have and start living from what you already are. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of consciousness. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready for this truth. Take these teachings and let them transform not just your mind, but your entire reality. Until we meet again in consciousness, keep assuming your greatness and living from the end of your desires. This is Best of Lectures. I will see you in the next video. Close your eyes for a moment and try to touch tomorrow. Reach out with your hands and grasp next week. Open your mouth and taste next year. You cannot, can you? Because tomorrow doesn't exist. Next week is nowhere to be found. Next year is a phantom, a mirage, a complete and utter illusion. My dear friends, tonight, I'm going to tell you something that will either liberate you completely or disturb you so profoundly that you'll question everything you think you know about time, planning, and hope itself. Tonight, I want to reveal to you one of the most radical truths in all of existence. There is no future. Not the future is uncertain. Not the future is hard to predict. I'm telling you that the future, as you understand it, simply does not exist. It never has existed. It never will exist. It is the greatest illusion ever perpetuated upon the human mind. And this illusion is the source of nearly all human suffering, anxiety, and limitation. The revelation of this truth came to me in the most unexpected way. A woman approached me after a lecture last month, her face etched with worry and desperation. She said, "Neville, I'm terrified about my future. What if I never find love? What if I never have enough money? What if my health fails? What if my children suffer? I can't stop thinking about all the terrible things that might happen." I looked at this tormented soul, and I realized she was suffering from the most common disease of consciousness, future addiction. She was living in a dimension that doesn't exist, worrying about events that haven't happened, fearing possibilities that have no substance, planning for a time that will never come. I said to her, "My dear woman, you are afraid of nothing. You are worried about nowhere. You are planning for never. The future you fear does not exist anywhere except in your imagination. And even there it exists only as a present moment experience of imagining." She stared at me in confusion. "But Neville, surely I need to plan for the future. Surely I need to prepare for what's coming. How can you say there is no future?" "Because," I replied, "there is only now. There has always been only now. There will always be only now. What you call the future is simply now experienced differently. What you call planning for tomorrow is simply now imagining tomorrow. What you call worrying about next year is simply now creating anxiety about imaginary events." This woman was like most of humanity, trapped in the illusion of linear time, believing that somewhere out there in some mystical dimension called the future, events are waiting to happen to her. She didn't realize that she was creating her entire experience of future right now in this eternal present moment. I taught her something that changed her life forever. There is no future to worry about because there is no future to experience. There is only now, and in this now she could choose to experience peace instead of anxiety, love instead of fear, abundance instead of lack. But let me be very clear about what I mean when I say there is no future. I don't mean that change doesn't happen. I don't mean that what you experience tomorrow will be identical to what you experience today. I mean that when tomorrow comes, it won't be the future. It will be now. It will be the eternal present moment experienced with whatever consciousness you bring to it. Think about this carefully. Have you ever experienced the future? Every experience you've ever had happened in the present moment. Every joy, every sorrow, every triumph, every challenge, all occurred in the now. Even your memories of the past are present moment experiences. Even your imaginings of the future are present moment activities. The future is not a place you're going to. The future is not a time you will eventually reach. The future is a present moment, mental activity, the activity of imagining, planning, worrying, or anticipating. And since imagination is a present moment experience, the future exists only in the eternal now. This is why Jesus could say, "Take no thought for tomorrow, for tomorrow will take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." He wasn't advocating irresponsibility. He was revealing the illusion of tomorrow as a separate dimension of experience. When tomorrow comes, it comes as today. When the future arrives, it arrives as the present. When next year gets here, it gets here as now. There is no escape from the eternal present, no matter how far into the future you project your consciousness. Let me tell you about a man who discovered this truth in the most practical way possible. He came to me consumed with anxiety about his retirement. He said, "Neville, I'm terrified about my future. What if I don't have enough money saved? What if my health fails? What if I can't afford medical care? What if I become a burden to my children? I can't sleep at night thinking about these possibilities. I said to him, "My friend, you are not afraid of retirement. You are afraid of a mental construction that you're calling the future. You are not worried about tomorrow. You are creating anxiety today by imagining unpleasant scenarios and calling them future possibilities." "But these things could really happen," he protested. "Could they happen when?" I asked. "In the future, but there is no future. They could happen now, and if they happen now, you will deal with them now. They could happen in what you call tomorrow. But when tomorrow comes, it will be experienced as now, and you will deal with them in that now." I taught this man a revolutionary approach to planning and preparation. Instead of projecting his consciousness into an imaginary future and creating anxiety about hypothetical scenarios, he learned to plan and prepare in the present moment with present moment awareness. When he felt the urge to worry about future financial security, he would return to the present moment and take present moment action. Saving money now, investing now, learning about finances now. When he felt afraid about future health problems, he would return to the present moment and take care of his health now, exercising now, eating well now, managing stress now. But most importantly, he learned that his primary preparation for any future was the cultivation of present moment consciousness. If he developed the ability to remain peaceful, resourceful, and creative in the present moment, then he would have those same qualities available in whatever present moment he experienced next. The transformation was remarkable. His anxiety dissolved because he stopped trying to live in a dimension that doesn't exist. His effectiveness increased because he focused all his energy on present moment action rather than future worry. His joy returned because he stopped postponing happiness until some imaginary future condition was met. This is the great secret. There is no future to prepare for except by being fully present now. There is no tomorrow to plan for except by living consciously today. There is no next year to worry about except by creating wisely in this eternal moment. But this truth goes much deeper than simply reducing anxiety or improving planning. When you truly understand that there is no future, you realize that all creation happens now. All manifestation occurs in the present moment. All transformation takes place in the eternal here and now. Most people believe they are manifesting for the future. They think their desires will come to them in some tomorrow that doesn't exist. They imagine their good arriving in some next week that never comes. They plan for happiness in some next year that will never be anything other than now. But consciousness creates in the present moment. Imagination manifests now. Assumption becomes experience immediately. Not in some future time, but in the eternal now that is the only time there is. Let me share with you a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. A young woman came to see me who had been trying to manifest her ideal relationship for 3 years. She said, "Neville, I've been visualizing my perfect partner, feeling the love, imagining our life together. But it's been 3 years and he still hasn't shown up. When will my manifestation finally happen?" I said to her, "It has already happened. It's happening right now. Your manifestation doesn't exist in some future time. It exists in the eternal present. When you imagine your perfect relationship, you are experiencing your perfect relationship now. When you feel loved, you are loved now. When you visualize your ideal partner, you are with your ideal partner now." "But I'm still physically alone," she protested. "You are alone in one dimension of now," I replied, "and in relationship in another dimension of now. Both experiences are happening in the present moment. The question is not when your relationship will manifest in some future. The question is which dimension of now you choose to inhabit most of the time." I taught this woman that she was not waiting for love to come to her in the future. She was choosing between different present moment experiences of consciousness. She could experience the now of loneliness or the now of love. She could inhabit the now of lack or the now of fulfillment. She could live in the now of waiting or the now of having. When she truly understood that there is no future, something magical happened. She stopped waiting for love and started being love. She stopped anticipating relationship and started experiencing relationship in her imagination with such reality that it became more compelling than her physical solitude. Within 6 months, she met a man who perfectly matched the consciousness of love she had been cultivating in the eternal now. Not because her manifestation had finally come from some future dimension, but because she had learned to live so consistently in the now of fulfilled love that physical reality naturally reflected her inner experience. This is the secret of instant manifestation. When you realize there is no future, you stop waiting for your good and start experiencing it now. When you understand that there is no tomorrow, you stop postponing your fulfillment and start claiming it in the eternal present. But let me address what might be the most challenging aspect of this teaching. If there is no future, what about goals, dreams, and aspirations? How do you create positive change without planning for the future? The answer is profound. You don't plan for the future. You plan in the eternal now. You don't set goals for tomorrow. You align with your desires in the present moment. You don't work toward future achievement. You embody present moment fulfillment. Every goal you think you're working toward exists right now in the dimension of consciousness. Every dream you think you're moving toward is available right now in the realm of imagination. Every aspiration you think you're building toward can be experienced right now in the eternal present. I remember a businessman who wanted to expand his company but was constantly frustrated by the slow pace of progress. He said, "Neville, I have all these plans for the future of my business, but everything takes so long. When will I finally achieve the success I'm working toward?" I said to him, "You will never achieve success because success is not a future destination. It's a present moment experience. You can be successful right now by feeling successful right now. You can have the expanded business right now by experiencing the expanded business in your consciousness right now." "But my business is still small," he said. "Your business is small in one dimension of now," I replied, "and large in another dimension of now. Both realities exist in the present moment. The question is which reality you choose to inhabit with your attention and assumption." This man learned to run his business from the consciousness of already being successful rather than trying to become successful in some future. He made decisions from the feeling of expansion rather than the feeling of limitation. He treated his current small business as if it were already the large business he desired. The expansion happened so naturally and quickly that it felt like remembering rather than achieving. Opportunities appeared, resources manifested, growth occurred, not because the future had finally arrived, but because he had learned to live in the present moment dimension where his success already existed. Now you might be wondering, if there is no future, what about hope? What about anticipation? What about looking forward to good things? Here's the beautiful truth. When you realize there is no future, hope becomes certainty. When you understand that everything exists in the eternal now, anticipation becomes immediate experience. When you know that there is no tomorrow, looking forward becomes living now. Hope is the feeling you have when you believe your good exists in some future time. But when you realize there is no future, you discover that your good exists right now in the dimension of consciousness. Hope transforms into knowing. Anticipation becomes experience. Looking forward becomes being present. Let me tell you about a mother who was hoping for her son's recovery from addiction. She said, "Neville, I hope someday he'll get clean. I look forward to the day when our family is whole again. I anticipate the future when this nightmare is over." I said to her, "There is no someday for his recovery. There is only now. There is no future day when your family will be whole. There is only this eternal moment. There is no tomorrow when the nightmare will be over. There is only the present moment choice to live in the dream of wholeness." I taught this mother that her son's recovery was not a future event, but a present reality in the dimension of consciousness, where all healing exists. Her family's wholeness was not a tomorrow experience, but a now possibility. The end of the nightmare was not a future occurrence, but a present moment choice to live in love rather than fear. She learned to experience her son as already healed in the eternal now. She felt the reality of family wholeness in the present moment. She lived from the consciousness of recovery rather than the consciousness of addiction. 6 months later, her son entered treatment voluntarily and achieved lasting sobriety. Not because the future had finally arrived, but because she had learned to live so consistently in the now of healing that physical reality reflected her inner experience. This is what happens when you truly understand that there is no future. You stop waiting for your life to begin and start living it now. You stop postponing happiness until conditions change and start choosing happiness in present circumstances. You stop believing that your good is coming someday and start knowing that your good is here now. So tonight I want you to conduct a great experiment. For the next week, live as if there is no future, not irresponsibly, but consciously. When you catch yourself worrying about tomorrow, return to experiencing now. When you find yourself postponing happiness until some future condition, choose happiness in present circumstances. Stop waiting for your life to get better in some imaginary future and start making it better in the real present. Stop believing your good is coming someday and start knowing your good is here now. Stop planning for happiness and start being happy. Discover what happens when you stop trying to live in a time that doesn't exist and start fully inhabiting the time that is the only time there is. The moment of now. You will find that without a future to worry about, anxiety disappears. Without a tomorrow to postpone happiness until, joy becomes immediate. Without a someday to wait for your good, fulfillment becomes present. There is no future because there is only now. There is no tomorrow because there is only today. There is no someday because there is only this day. The eternal day of present moment consciousness. Stop trying to get to a future that will never come and start living in the now that never leaves. Stop waiting for your life to begin in some tomorrow and start experiencing your life as it is right now. Eternal, perfect, and complete in every present moment. There is no future. There is only now. And now is all you need for every experience of joy, love, abundance, and fulfillment that you've been postponing until some imaginary later. The future is an illusion. The present is reality. Choose to live in reality. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of consciousness. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready for this truth. Take these teachings and let them transform not just your mind, but your entire reality. Until we meet again in consciousness, keep assuming your greatness and living from the end of your desires. This is Best of Lectures. I will see you in the next video.
Right now, as you're listening this, there's another version of you making completely different choices. They're living the life you've always dreamed of, or perhaps facing challenges you can't even imagine. But here's the mind-bending part. They're trying to reach you. Let your mind drift beyond this room, beyond this day, beyond the version of yourself you know so well. Imagine that somewhere right now, there's not just one other you, but a countless multitude, each living out a life shaped by choices you never made, dreams you never pursued, or fears you overcame long ago. Picture it. In one reality, you are standing on a mountaintop, wind in your hair, a life of freedom and adventure your daily norm. In another, you're sitting by a warm fire in a cozy cottage, surrounded by a family that feels like home. In yet another, you're standing on a stage, your voice carrying a message that changes lives. Some versions are not so different from your life now. Others are so radically free, abundant, or wise that they almost feel like fantasy. And yet, they are real. Each possibility exists as a thread woven into the vast, shimmering tapestry of the multiverse. Every time you wonder, what if? Every time you dream, if only I'd? Every choice you almost made but didn't. Somewhere, some version of you did. And what if I told you that every strange coincidence, every moment of déjà vu, every vivid dream that felt too real isn't random at all? What if these are actually messages, cosmic breadcrumbs left by alternate versions of yourself across infinite realities? This isn't science fiction. Quantum physics has shattered our understanding of reality, revealing that what we experience is just one thread in an infinite tapestry of possibilities. And the most extraordinary part, All these versions of you are connected by an invisible web of consciousness that transcends time and space. But why does this matter now, here in the quiet hush of your own awareness? Because these other selves are not lost, distant shadows. They are alive within you, whispering, guiding, nudging you toward your highest potential every single day. Some call it parallel universes. Some call it the quantum field. Some call it the infinite soul. But at the heart of it all is a simple truth. You are so much more than you have been taught to believe. And right now, whether you realize it or not, you are standing at the doorway between these infinite selves. You hold the key to shift from the reality you see to the one you truly desire. This isn't just spiritual daydreaming. Modern physics has peered into the strange, shimmering dance of the quantum world and found that reality, at its deepest level, is not fixed and solid, but fluid and flexible. Particles flicker in and out of existence. One particle can exist in many places at once, until you look at it, and it chooses where to be. And what is true of particles is true of everything built from them, which means it's true of you. The concept of parallel realities isn't just spiritual philosophy. It's grounded in cutting-edge quantum physics. The theory of quantum superposition reveals that at the fundamental level of reality, particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. This means that on the deepest level of existence, all possible realities are happening at once. Picture this. With every decision you make, whether to take that job, move to that city, speak to that stranger, or even what to eat for breakfast, reality splits like a cosmic fork in the road. In one timeline, you said yes. In another, you said no. Each choice creates a new branch where a different version of you lives out that decision, experiencing all the consequences and possibilities that follow. Some of these parallel selves are living extraordinary lives beyond your wildest dreams. Others are facing challenges that would test the very limits of human endurance. But all of them, every single version, shares something profound with you, an unbreakable connection through the fabric of consciousness itself. But here's where it gets fascinating. These parallel selves aren't isolated islands drifting in an ocean of possibility. They're all connected through what scientists call the quantum field, a vast ocean of consciousness where all possibilities exist simultaneously. And sometimes, just sometimes, these other versions of you find ways to break through the dimensional barriers to send you messages. What's truly extraordinary is that these multiple realities aren't just theoretical. They're actively interconnected. The consciousness that creates them maintains connections between all versions, allowing for communication and influence across dimensional boundaries. This is why you can receive guidance from a version of yourself that has already overcome the challenges you're currently facing. Think back to a moment in your life when you stood at a crossroads. Maybe it was a job you almost took, but didn't. A relationship you walked away from, or wished you hadn't. A chance you were too afraid to leap for. Imagine that, in another thread of reality, you made the opposite choice. How might your life be different? What kind of person would you be now? More courageous, more free, more joyful, or maybe carrying different burdens you were spared here? The beauty is, these other selves are not just echoes. They are alive within your field. They hold memories, lessons, strength, and inspiration that you can access. And the bridge to reach them is your consciousness. Your parallel selves speak in a language older than words, more subtle than thoughts, and more powerful than any technology we've ever created. They speak in symbols, dreams, intuitions, and tiny twists of fate we call coincidences. Think of déjà vu, that uncanny feeling you've done this before, in this exact way. That eerie feeling of I've been here before isn't a glitch in your brain. It's a memory leak from another timeline. For a split second, the barriers between realities become permeable, and you're experiencing an echo of what another version of you has already lived through. What if in that moment, your timeline brushed up against another, and you glimpsed a memory from a parallel self? These moments of déjà vu are actually brief glimpses into the experiences of your parallel selves. It's as if the dimensional walls become transparent for just an instant, allowing you to peek through and witness a scene that another version of you has already played out. The feeling of familiarity you experience is your consciousness recognizing its own energy signature from across the dimensional divide. When the same number appears everywhere you look, when chance encounters feel orchestrated by an invisible hand, when life seems to be conspiring to get your attention, that's not coincidence. It's your parallel self using the universe as a messaging system, dropping hints about the path you should take. Or synchronicities, those same phrases echoing on a billboard, a song that plays just as you're wondering about something deeply important. These are not random, they are breadcrumbs. Little winks from the universe, or from your parallel selves, nudging you. Pay attention, you're not alone. These synchronicities serve as a sophisticated communication network between realities. Imagine a version of you who has already made the career change you're contemplating, now living successfully in that new reality. This version of you might guide your attention to specific symbols, numbers, or events that appeared in their own journey toward that successful transition. For instance, you might start noticing a particular word or phrase everywhere, in magazines, in conversations, on social media, right when you're considering a major life change. This repetitive appearance isn't random. It's a version of you from a reality where this symbol played a significant role in their transformation, now using it as a beacon to guide your steps. And then there are your dreams, those wild journeys where your mind roams free. Many mystics believe dreams are not fantasy, but portals, windows, where your soul travels to meet other selves, learning what they know, bringing back wisdom if you're willing to listen. Your dreams aren't just random neural firings or subconscious processing. They're windows into other realities, particularly those vivid dreams that feel more real than waking life itself. These dreams often carry the emotional weight and crystal clear details that distinguish them from ordinary dreams. When you dream of living a completely different life, meeting people you've never encountered in waking reality, or experiencing situations that feel simultaneously foreign and familiar, you're likely accessing the experiences of your parallel selves. These dream bridges allow you to witness and even participate in the lives of other versions of yourself. Lucid dreaming takes this communication to an even deeper level. When you become aware that you're dreaming and can control the experience, you're essentially opening a direct communication channel with your parallel selves. In these lucid states, you can consciously explore alternative realities, learn from the experiences of other versions of yourself, and even receive direct guidance about your current life path. And what about that subtle sense that reality feels off? Maybe you wake up one day and your favorite food tastes bland. You look around your home and feel like a guest in your own life. You walk into a familiar place that feels slightly wrong, the air heavy, the vibe strange. Ever feel like you don't belong in your current reality? Like you've somehow shifted into the wrong timeline, or that your surroundings don't quite match your inner sense of where you should be? This unsettling sensation, often described as feeling out of time or out of place, occurs when you're temporarily tuned into a parallel version of yourself. Some call this a glitch in the matrix. But what if it's really a sign that you've shifted, even if only for a moment, to a different version of you? Sometimes these shifts happen gently through healing, growth, or conscious choice. Other times they're sudden, triggered by intense emotion or trauma, when your soul jumps to a reality better suited to your vibration. This displacement effect often occurs when you're at a crossroads in your life, contemplating major decisions or changes. It's as if your consciousness is sampling different possible futures, briefly experiencing the energy of realities where you've made different choices. This sampling process helps you navigate your current decisions by giving you a preview of where different paths might lead. Your strongest bridge to these other selves is your intuition, that quiet inner voice you sometimes ignore in favor of logic. But when you truly listen, you'll notice intuition speaks in nudges, sudden knowing, and the quiet pull that defies explanation. It's your higher self or your parallel self whispering, "This is your path. Trust it." Those sudden, unexplainable urges to change direction in your life, that inner voice that guides you towards something without any logical reason. That's your parallel self, who's already made that change successfully, beaming wisdom directly into your consciousness. These intuitive downloads can manifest as irresistible feelings that something needs to be done, even when you can't articulate why. It's as if a part of you in another reality, where the choice has already been made and the outcome is known, is sending you a message to act in a specific way. Sometimes these downloads appear as sudden behavioral changes, where you start adopting new habits, interests, or routines, without fully understanding their origin. You might find yourself drawn to activities you've never considered before, or you might spontaneously change your daily patterns in ways that seem to come from somewhere deep within. These changes often reflect the influence of a parallel version of yourself who has already integrated these behaviors and is now projecting that energy into your current life. By remaining open to these intuitive nudges and behavioral shifts, you're allowing the wisdom of your parallel selves to guide your evolution. Next time you feel that inner tug to reach out to someone you haven't thought of in years, do it. When you feel the urge to turn left instead of right, take the turn. These tiny choices can shift your entire timeline, aligning you with a version of your life where doors open effortlessly. Everything in existence vibrates at a specific frequency. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions all emit energy signatures that determine which reality you experience and which parallel versions of yourself you can connect with. Want to communicate with a more successful version of yourself? You need to match their frequency. But to truly tune in, to merge with the highest, wisest, most abundant version of yourself, you must become a vibrational match. Everything in this universe is frequency. The version of you living in harmony, love, abundance, and peace exists at a higher vibration than fear, lack, or doubt. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every action you take, creates a specific vibration that resonates with certain realities while remaining disconnected from others. When we talk about parallel realities, we're essentially describing different vibrational states that coexist simultaneously in the quantum field. The version of you that lives a life of abundance and inner peace, for example, vibrates at a higher frequency that naturally attracts experiences of prosperity and harmony. To align with this version, you need to understand that vibrational frequency isn't fixed. It can be consciously raised or lowered based on the quality of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. So ask yourself, what thoughts do I think most often? What emotions do I feed daily? Do they match the reality I desire? Now I will give you 4 basic techniques for raising your vibration and connecting with your higher parallel selves. Number 1, gratitude. Gratitude tunes you into timelines where abundance flows naturally. When you cultivate genuine appreciation for what you have, you align your energy with realities where abundance is a constant presence. Gratitude is the shortcut. Number 2, forgiveness. Forgiveness aligns you with versions who found peace. Releasing resentment and anger frees up enormous amounts of energy that can be redirected toward connecting with your most harmonious parallel selves. Forgiveness is the unlock code. Number 3, compassion. Compassion connects you to your most evolved selves. By extending understanding and kindness to others, you raise your frequency to match versions of yourself who operate from love rather than fear. Number 4, joy. Joy bridges you to realities where happiness is your default state. Actively cultivating moments of joy, no matter how small, creates a resonance with timelines where fulfillment is your natural experience. Joy is the magnet. The more you cultivate these frequencies, the more you slip into timelines where your best self already lives. Now, here are the best ways to strengthen your connection with your parallel selves. Number 1, the documentation method. When signs start appearing from your parallel selves, the first reaction might be doubt or confusion. These messages don't always come in clear, obvious forms. They often arrive as subtle nudges, strange coincidences, or feelings that seem to come from nowhere. The key to interpreting these signs lies in developing conscious observation skills and learning to trust your intuition. Document every strange coincidence, every meaningful dream, every moment of displaced feeling, every synchronicity that catches your attention. Don't dismiss anything as just coincidence. Instead, write it down and reflect on its possible significance. Over time, patterns will emerge from these recorded experiences. These patterns are your roadmap to understanding the specific ways your parallel selves prefer to communicate with you. Some versions of you might favor dream communication, while others might use synchronicities or intuitive downloads as their primary method of contact. For example, if you consistently dream about a particular place or person, it could be an indication that a version of you in another reality is trying to guide you toward a similar experience in your current life. The details matter. Pay attention to the emotions you feel in these dreams, the specific locations, the people involved, and the overall atmosphere. Number 2, the meditation gateway. In deep meditation, the barriers between realities become paper thin. This is when you can establish the clearest communication channels with your parallel selves. During meditation, focus on any signs or messages you've received, and allow your intuition to guide you toward their deeper meaning. Ask your parallel selves direct questions during these meditative states. The answers might not come in words, but in feelings, images, sudden insights, or a profound sense of knowing. Sometimes the guidance comes as a physical sensation, a feeling of expansion when you're on the right track, or a sense of contraction when you're moving away from your optimal path. Set aside time each day to quiet your mind and open yourself to receive guidance from your parallel selves. The consistency of this practice will strengthen your ability to perceive and interpret their messages. Number 3, mirror work. Look into your own eyes. Speak affirmations as if you are already that highest version. I am abundant. I am free. I am love. This reprograms your vibration to match your desired reality. But go deeper than simple affirmations. Look into your eyes and ask, what do you need to tell me? Sometimes the version of you looking back has wisdom to share. Notice any thoughts, feelings, or insights that arise during this practice. Try different variations. Speak to your past self with compassion. Speak to your future self with curiosity. Speak to your parallel selves with openness. Each conversation opens different channels of communication. When signs start appearing from your parallel selves, the first reaction might be doubt or confusion. These messages don't always come in clear, obvious forms. They often arrive as subtle nudges, strange coincidences, or feelings that seem to come from nowhere. The key to interpreting these signs lies in developing conscious observation skills and learning to trust your intuition. Practice what I call conscious noticing. Throughout your day, maintain a gentle awareness of your surroundings, your thoughts, and your feelings. When something catches your attention in an unusual way, pause and ask, what might this mean? What is this trying to tell me? Learn to feel the difference between random events and meaningful synchronicities. Meaningful synchronicities often have an emotional charge. They make you feel something, whether it's excitement, curiosity, or a sense of significance. Random events feel neutral, while synchronicities feel alive with possibility. Applying the messages you receive from your parallel versions means being open to new ways of acting, thinking, and feeling. If a parallel version of yourself is guiding you to take a specific path, consider how you can adapt that guidance to your current circumstances and reality. For example, if you feel a strong intuition to change careers, even if it seems scary or impractical, this could be guidance from a version of yourself who has already made that transition successfully. They understand the challenges and rewards that await you, and their encouragement is based on actual experience of living that choice. Another practical example might be the persistent feeling that you should explore a new hobby, skill, or area of study. This feeling could be a message from a version of yourself who has already mastered this area and is experiencing great joy and fulfillment through it. When you follow this guidance, you're not just expanding your capabilities, you're also connecting more deeply with that accomplished parallel version of yourself. The process of aligning with your parallel versions and applying their messages in your daily life can be seen as a path of personal and spiritual evolution. Each new understanding, each change in behavior, each decision made from these insights propels you toward a higher version of yourself. This alignment not only accelerates your personal growth, but also expands your consciousness beyond the limits of what you previously believed possible. You begin to realize that your current reality is just one of many options available to you, and that you have the power to choose which reality you want to experience based on the frequencies you emit and the choices you make. When challenges come, remember there is a version of you who has already overcome them. Ask for their guidance. Sit in silence. Listen. The answer might come as a feeling, a dream, a song, a sudden idea. Act on it. That's how you walk the bridge between timelines. Aligning with your parallel versions not only guides you toward a fuller life, but also connects you more deeply with the fundamental unity of existence. You begin to understand that all realities, all versions of yourself, and all possibilities are interconnected expressions of the same infinite consciousness. This understanding brings a profound sense of peace and purpose. You realize that you're not struggling alone through your challenges. You're part of an infinite network of consciousness that's constantly supporting and guiding your evolution. Through this integration, you're not just shaping your current reality, you're evolving as a conscious being and opening yourself to infinite possibilities for growth and fulfillment. Every message you receive, every sign you interpret, every decision you make based on guidance from your parallel selves becomes a catalyst for transformation. You begin to see that your life is not limited by your past experiences or current circumstances. Instead, you have access to the wisdom and experiences of infinite versions of yourself, each offering unique perspectives and solutions to the challenges you face. The journey of connecting with your parallel selves is ultimately a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. You're learning to recognize that you're not limited to one reality, one set of circumstances, or one version of yourself. Instead, you're awakening to your true nature as an infinite being with access to unlimited possibilities. So the next time you feel lost, alone, or stuck, pause, breathe. Feel for the version of you who has already found the way through. Invite them closer. And remember, you are never alone. You are a chorus of selves, cheering you on from beyond the veil. Every message received, every sign interpreted, every decision made, based on guidance from your parallel selves, becomes a stepping stone toward a life that truly reflects who you are in all your dimensions. The communication is already happening. The question is whether you're ready to listen and act on the wisdom being offered to you. You are not bound to one life, one story, one version of who you think you are. You are infinite potential, unfolding in countless forms. You are the dreamer, the dream, and the dreamscape all at once.
Good evening, my friends. Tonight I am going to teach you the two most powerful words in the entire vocabulary of manifestation. Turn within. And I am going to show you exactly where to go once you turn within. Not to the beginning, not to the middle, but straight to the end. These 6 words contain the entire secret of conscious creation. Turn within and go to the end. Most people spend their entire lives turned outward, looking to the external world for solutions, for validation, for change. They look to their bank account to tell them if they are prosperous. They look to other people to tell them if they are loved. They look to circumstances to tell them what is possible. And because they are turned outward, they remain powerless. Because the outer world is effect, not cause. It is the screen, not the projector. It is the shadow, not the substance. Tonight I am going to teach you to reverse your gaze, to turn within where all causation resides. And once you have turned within, I will show you how to go directly to the end, to the state of the wish fulfilled, and collapse all time between desire and manifestation. Let me begin with a story that perfectly illustrates what it means to turn within. A woman came to me several months ago, absolutely desperate about her financial situation. She was drowning in debt, her business was failing, and she saw no way out. For 30 minutes, she described her problems in elaborate detail. The creditors calling, the bills unpaid, the opportunities that had fallen through. Finally, I stopped her and said, "My dear, you have spent 30 minutes describing your outer world, But I want you to do something radical right now. I want you to turn within. She looked at me, confused. What do you mean, turn within? Close your eyes, I instructed. Stop looking at your circumstances for a moment. Stop thinking about the bills, the creditors, the problems. Turn your attention inward, to the realm of imagination, to the dimension of consciousness where all things are possible. She closed her eyes and I continued. In this inner realm, there is a version of you who is financially free. There is a state of consciousness where you are abundant, secure, and prosperous. I want you to find that state, not by thinking about how you might get there someday, but by going there now, in imagination. I watched as something shifted in her body. Her breathing changed. Her face softened. She had stopped looking outward at her problems and had turned inward to the realm of possibility. What do you see? I asked gently. I see myself completely at peace, she whispered. I see my bank account with more than enough. I feel relief, joy, freedom. That, I said, is turning within. You have just moved from the outer world of effects to the inner world of causes. And the state you are experiencing right now in imagination is more real than all your problems, because it is the cause that will create new effects. You see, turning within is not escapism. It is not denying your circumstances or pretending your problems do not exist. Turning within is recognizing that the outer world has no creative power. It can only reflect what is within. And if you want the outer world to change, you must first turn within and change the state you are maintaining in consciousness. The entire world is looking outward for salvation. They think the answer is out there. In a new job, a new relationship, a new opportunity, a lucky break. But I tell you, nothing out there has the power to save you, because nothing out there has the power to create. All power is within. All causation is within. All change begins within. When you turn within, you are turning to the only creative force in your universe, your own consciousness. You are moving from the world of effects to the world of causes. You are stepping out of the powerless position of reactor and into the powerful position of creator. But turning within is only the first step. Once you have turned within, you must know where to go. And this is where most people make their critical mistake. They turn within, they begin to imagine, but they imagine the process. They imagine the steps, the journey, the how. They imagine working hard, struggling, eventually achieving. They imagine the long road from here to there. But I teach something radically different. I teach you to go directly to the end, to skip over all the middle steps, and leap straight to the state of the wish fulfilled. Going to the end means imagining from the state of having, not from the state of getting. It means experiencing the after, not the during. It means dwelling in the result as though it has already happened. Let me explain this with absolute clarity, because it is the most important technique you will ever learn. When most people want something, they imagine acquiring it. If they want money, they imagine getting money. If they want a relationship, they imagine meeting someone. If they want healing, they imagine being healed. But all of these imaginings keep you in the state of wanting, of lacking, of not yet having. They perpetuate the very condition you are trying to escape. Going to the end means you skip the acquisition entirely and imagine from the state of already possessing. You do not imagine getting money. You imagine having money and feeling the naturalness of it. You do not imagine meeting someone. You imagine being in a loving relationship and feeling the satisfaction of it. You do not imagine being healed. You imagine being healthy and feeling the vitality of it. The end is not the moment of receiving. The end is the state of already having received. A gentleman came to me who had been trying to manifest a promotion at work for over a year. He had been visualizing the moment his boss would call him into the office and offer him the position. He had imagined the interview, the negotiation, the acceptance, but nothing was happening. I said to him, "You are imagining the process, not the end. You are stuck in the getting, not the having. Let me show you what it means to go to the end." I had him close his eyes and said, "Do not imagine being offered the promotion. Imagine it is 3 months after you received the promotion. You are sitting at your new desk, in your new office, performing your new responsibilities. This is normal now. This is just your life. Feel how natural it is. This is not something you are hoping for. This is something you have. As he imagined from this end state, I watched his entire energy shift. The desperate grasping dissolved. The anxiety about whether it would happen melted away. He was no longer imagining getting the promotion. He was experiencing having it. How do you feel? I asked. I feel settled, he said. Like it's already done. Like this is just who I am now. That, I told him, is the state of the wish fulfilled. That is the end. And when you can maintain that state, the outer world must conform to it. Within 2 weeks he received the promotion. But notice, he did not receive it because he imagined the process of getting it. He received it because he went to the end and dwelt in the state of already having it. Now you might ask, but Neville, if I go straight to the end and skip all the middle steps, how will the manifestation actually occur? Don't I need to know the how? And this is where you must understand one of the most liberating truths I can teach you. You do not need to know the how. In fact, trying to figure out the how will only limit your manifestation. When you go to the end and maintain the state of the wish fulfilled, you set in motion what I call the bridge of incidents, a series of events, encounters, and circumstances that will naturally unfold to bring your assumption into physical reality. But here is the crucial point. You cannot know in advance what this bridge of incidents will look like. The path from your current state to your desired end may involve people, opportunities, and circumstances that do not even exist in your awareness right now. If you try to imagine the how, you are using your limited conscious mind to plot a course. But when you go to the end and let the subconscious work out the means, you are accessing infinite intelligence that can orchestrate circumstances far beyond what your conscious mind could plan. Your job is not to build the bridge. Your job is to go to the end and remain there in consciousness. The bridge will build itself. I remember a woman who wanted to move to a specific city, but saw no possible way to do it. She had no job prospects there, no connections, no financial means. Her conscious mind could not plot a path. But I taught her, do not imagine how you will get there. Do not try to figure out the job, the money, the logistics. Simply go to the end. Imagine you are already living in that city. Feel yourself waking up there, walking the streets, living your daily life there. Dwell in the end, and let the bridge build itself. She practiced this faithfully. She stopped trying to figure out the how and simply maintained the state of already living in her desired city. She would close her eyes and feel herself there, hear the sounds of that place, experience the satisfaction of being where she wanted to be. Within 2 months, a series of unexpected events unfolded. A distant relative offered her a place to stay. An opportunity appeared for remote work. A friend mentioned a contact in that city. None of these were things she could have planned or predicted. The bridge of incidents had constructed itself perfectly. She did not make it happen. She did not force it into being. She simply went to the end, maintained that state, and allowed the creative power of consciousness to orchestrate the means. Here is another profound truth about going to the end. It collapses time. In the three-dimensional world, everything appears to happen in linear sequence. First this, then that, then the next thing. There is always a gap between desire and fulfillment, between cause and effect. But in consciousness, in the dimension where you turn within, there is no time. There is only the eternal now. And when you go to the end, you are stepping into a dimension where your desire is already fulfilled, where the wish is already accomplished. Most people imagine their desire in the future. Someday I will have this. Eventually this will happen. In the future I will be that. But the future never comes. The future is always future. Going to the end means bringing the future into the present moment of consciousness. It means experiencing now what you would experience then. It means collapsing the gap between desire and fulfillment by dwelling in the fulfilled state right now. Time only exists in the outer world. In the inner world of consciousness, you can be anywhere, anywhen, any version of yourself. And whichever state you occupy in consciousness becomes your reality. A man came to me who wanted to be debt-free but owed over $100,000. In linear time, at his current income, it would take him many years to pay off this debt. The future seemed impossibly distant. I taught him to collapse time by going to the end. Do not imagine slowly paying off the debt, I told him. Do not imagine years of struggle and sacrifice. Go straight to the end. Imagine you are already debt-free. Feel what it feels like to owe nothing. Experience the peace, the freedom, the relief of being completely clear financially. He practiced this daily, turning within and going to the end. He did not think about how it would happen or how long it would take. He simply dwelt in the state of being debt-free, experiencing it as present reality in consciousness. Within 8 months, far sooner than linear planning would have suggested, the entire debt was cleared through a combination of unexpected circumstances. An inheritance from an uncle he barely knew, a tax refund larger than anticipated, a bonus at work he had not expected. Time had collapsed because he had collapsed it in consciousness. By going to the end and experiencing it now, he had brought the distant future into the present moment. Now I want to make a crucial distinction that will deepen your understanding of this practice. There is a difference between living in the wish and living from the end. Living in the wish means you are still oriented toward the desire as something you want. You are still in the consciousness of lacking it, of needing it to come to you. Even if you are imagining it as something separate from you, something you are trying to acquire. Living from the end means you have already acquired it in consciousness. You are no longer looking at it from the outside as something you want. You are looking from it at the world as something you have. Let me illustrate this with an example. Imagine a woman who desires marriage. If she is living in the wish, she imagines meeting her husband, the wedding ceremony, the moment of union. She is still oriented toward the marriage as something in her future, something she hopes will happen. But if she is living from the end, she does not imagine the wedding. She imagines from the state of being married. She might simply feel a ring on her finger as she washes dishes. She might have an imaginary conversation with her husband about their day. She experiences the naturalness, the ordinariness of being married. Do you see the difference? Living in the wish keeps you focused on the desire. Living from the end makes the desire your natural state. When you live from the end, you are no longer trying to get there. You are already there in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality that matters, because consciousness creates all physical reality. The woman who lives from the end of being married is not waiting to feel married when the man appears. She feels married now in consciousness. And because she feels married now, the man must appear to confirm what she already is in consciousness. This is the great secret. You do not achieve in order to become. You become in consciousness. And then the achievement appears as confirmation. As you practice going to the end, you must understand that it is not the mental image that creates, it is the feeling. You can visualize the end all day long. But if you are not feeling from the end, you are not truly there. The feeling is how you know you have actually assumed the state. When you go to the end, you must feel what you would feel if your desire were already accomplished. Not hope, not anticipation, not yearning, but the actual feeling of having, of being, of satisfaction and fulfillment. This feeling is not emotion in the ordinary sense. It is not excitement or giddiness. It is a deep, calm sense of naturalness. It is the feeling of course, rather than I hope so. When you truly go to the end, there is a quiet certainty, a peaceful knowing. You feel the way you feel about things you already have. Natural, normal, unquestioned. A young man came to me wanting to manifest success in his music career. He would spend hours visualizing himself on stage, imagining crowds, picturing success. But nothing was manifesting. I asked him, when you imagine these things, how do you feel? Excited, he said. Hopeful, like it would be amazing if it happened. There is your problem, I told him. You are feeling the anticipation of success, not the satisfaction of success. You are feeling what you would feel wanting it, not what you would feel having it. I taught him to go to the end differently, not to imagine the spectacular moments, but to imagine the quiet, ordinary moments after success had become normal. Imagine sitting in your home studio, casually working on music because this is just what you do now. Feel the calm confidence of someone who has already succeeded. Experience the naturalness of it. When he learned to feel from the end rather than toward it, everything shifted. Within months, opportunities began appearing that led to exactly the success he had imagined. The feeling is the secret because the feeling is the state, and the state is what manifests. Here is the practical discipline I want you to understand. Going to the end is not a one-time event. It is a practice of returning. Throughout your day, your attention will be pulled back to current circumstances. Your senses will report the old facts. The outer world will present evidence that contradicts your end state. This is natural. This is the gap between the old state hardening into fact and the new state not yet manifested physically. Your discipline is to continuously return to the end. Every time you notice yourself dwelling in the current state of lack or limitation, gently turn within and return to the end. You do not need to force it. You do not need to strain. You simply return as often as necessary to the state of the wish fulfilled. Think of it like this. Imagine you are standing in a room facing one direction, looking at an empty space. This is your current circumstance, the lack you see before you. Going to the end is like turning 180 degrees and looking in the opposite direction where everything you desire is already present. At first, you might turn around and look at the fulfilled end, but then habit pulls you back and you turn around again to look at the lack. This is normal. Simply turn back around. Look at the end again. Feel it again. Dwell there again. Each time you return to the end, you are strengthening that state in consciousness. You are impressing it more deeply upon your subconscious mind. You are making it more natural, more real, more inevitable. Eventually, living from the end becomes more natural than living from the current circumstances. The fulfilled state becomes your default, your home base. And when that happens, manifestation is not only inevitable, it is already accomplished. Let me leave you with the ultimate truth about turning within and going to the end. You are not trying to create something new. You are not trying to make something happen that does not yet exist. In the infinite dimension of consciousness, everything already exists. Every possible state, every possible outcome, every possible version of your life exists right now in consciousness. When you turn within and go to the end, you are not creating the end. You are selecting it. You are choosing which of the infinite possibilities you will experience. You are claiming what already is and making it your reality. Creation is finished. Everything that could ever be already exists in consciousness. Your only work is to select the state you desire and dwell there until it hardens into fact in the outer world. This is why I can say, with absolute certainty, that your desire is already accomplished. Not will be accomplished, is accomplished. Right now, in the dimension of consciousness, you are already what you desire to be. You already have what you desire to have. You are already experiencing what you desire to experience. Your job is simply to turn within, go to that end state, and dwell there until the outer world catches up with the inner reality. The power is within you. The end already exists. All you must do is turn your gaze inward, leap to the fulfilled state, and live from that end until the world has no choice but to conform. Turn within and go to the end. Thank you, and good evening. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of consciousness. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready for this truth. Take these teachings and let them transform not just your mind, but your entire reality. Until we meet again in consciousness, keep assuming your greatness and living from the end of your desires. This is Best of Lectures, and I'll see you in the next video.